You guys can even talk to each other. So it's really, really neat. So you can do that. You can log in, watch us live on YouTube, or if you're listening to us audio only and you want to get in touch with us the old-fashioned way, you can text us. The text line is always open, my friends. 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Broadcasting, as always, inside Drive Pink Stadium, formerly Inter Miami CF Stadium, the home of Inter Miami. We're 3 days away, my friends. 3 days to the minute, because they're going to be kicking off right about this time on Sunday when Inter Miami CF opens up their 2021 season against Los Angeles Galaxy. It's been really neat being in the building here today as I'm looking at these pink, black, gray, and white seats, which will be holding, I think between 6,000 to 8,000 people on Sunday, limited capacity because, we're still dealing with the pandemic. I think at some point in the next few months, we'll be able to open up to full or near full capacity once, the vaccine numbers are way up and the COVID numbers are down, God willing. But we're still a little bit limited, but it's going to be, though, regardless, the most fans to ever sit here and watch a game live. We will be achieving that on Sunday because, we were no capacity to very limited capacity at the very end of the season last year. We've never been able to open it up to as many people as we have this coming Sunday for the opener. So that's going to be a lot of fun, my friends. I've got a lot of literature today that we're going to go over throughout the show, throughout the next 3 hours, of people, I think, being harsh on Inter Miami's prospects for the upcoming season. I talked about this a little bit yesterday, and as I continue to comb the internet for MLS season previews, the vast majority of the national writers, the people who cover Major League Soccer for a living, I believe there's an anti-Inter Miami agenda. I think people don't like the glamour that comes with the Miami market. They resent us for that. There's some jealousy there, I'm sure. I think people don't like the glamour that comes with David Beckham. I think they are always really sour about the Phil Neville hiring because they're thinking, this guy got the job because he's Beckham's friend. Never mind the fact that, Phil Neville was an accomplished player, and he also had a lot of success coaching the English women's national team. I mean, don't act as if this guy just came out of nowhere and started coaching Inter Miami. But there's just, to me, there's a lot of resentment from the national soccer bros. Like, they don't want to see Inter Miami do well. And I think they're underestimating this team. Because when I look at these season predictions, and I keep seeing, and there are, I think, 14 teams in the Eastern Conference, and I keep seeing people predicting that Inter Miami are going to finish 11th, 12th, 13th in the East, I'm wondering, how can you justify thinking they got worse from last year to this year? It was a bit disappointing last year, no doubt. I mean, they crept into a play-in game in 10th last year. There was obviously some disappointment, but you had a roster that was built during the season last year. You had, all due respect to Diego Alonso, I think he could have done a little bit better establishing a tactical identity last year. I think there was something lacking from a managerial standpoint. And obviously, in this gig, Neville is unproven, but I'm already liking what I'm seeing and hearing of the job that he's doing and what he's going to bring tactically to this club. The spine of this team, when you think about players like Leandro Gonzalez-Pires, Nico Figal, I think the center back pairing is going to be fantastic. You think about Blaise Matuidi in the midfield, Lewis Morgan at the right wing, Gonzalo Higuain, who I know, didn't score as many goals in the couple months he was here last year as we expected. This guy is not far removed from being a world-class player in a top European league. I think Higuain is going to shut a lot of doubters up this year. So, no, I look at Inter Miami, and I think this squad, to me, especially at the fullback position, on paper has improved from last year. And I think that they're going to shut up a lot of these doubters who are unnecessarily, ranking them really, really low. We are, by the way, now streaming live on YouTube. So I'm going to be logging on and chatting with you guys in a couple minutes here. So go to youtube.com, Search for Onside Radio. You can hit the watch live button, and you can watch and chat with us live. Pretty cool this morning on Onside Radio. Toast took the day off today because he got his second Pfizer shot yesterday. So, he wanted to make sure in case he wasn't going to be feeling well today. I think it was smart because the second shot is kicks in people's asses. So he took the day off today as a precaution. And that gave us the opportunity to listen to Tito Bonach and Sean Stanley. And, Tito, I only caught about the last half hour of the show, the Omar Kelly interview, and then the final couple of segments after that. But I really thought you did a good job, man.
Thank you,
I was really impressed.
That.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We did our best to not crash the Lamborghini that is 4th and 20. We did, put the pedal to the floor a little bit. It's so much Fast and the Furious 9 talk. It's kind of hard not to.
And I want to ask you about that. Okay. So, So you're a big fan of the Fast and Furious series, is that correct?
Absolutely not. I've
Oh,
seen,
you're not?
No, I've seen 2 movies.
I didn't know because I caught the tail end of a conversation that you were having about Fast 9, and I was wondering is Tito a fanboy of those movies? So you and I are on the same page, Tito. I have not seen a Fast and or Furious film since Part 2.
Right. The one in Miami.
You're right. It was in Miami, and it came out in the summer of 2003. And quite honestly, the movie was shit. and after watching, the first one was all right. The sequel I thought was pretty crappy. It was nice seeing Miami, although it made no sense because they start driving on I-95 in North Miami, and 3 minutes later they're in the Florida Keys. So geographically, I don't care how fast they're driving. Geographically, it made absolutely no sense. That film.
Agreed.
It was very frustrating watching that. But, dude, I get. So I'm glad we're on the same page with this because I see there's another Fast Furious movie coming out, and I really think that the Fast and Furious films, the sequels and the spinoffs, because they're making spinoffs too. I believe it's everything wrong with society. I think that it's making people dumber, and it's making people embrace stupidity, and it's killing cinema.
Right.
Okay, because decades ago, you think about some of the greatest movies of all time: The Godfather Part 2, Citizen Kane. If you make a movie like that today, well, you really can't because studios don't want to fund it because they just want, bro. Hold on. You're trying to sell me on The Godfather. How many explosions you got in that movie, bro? How much CGI? Do you have any mutant dinosaurs running around? How are you trying to make me make that movie?
Right.
They don't make movies anymore.
Well,
they make popcorn algorithms. And I do not support popcorn. I support independent cinema. Give me a movie with subtitles, and I'm so there. Did you see the movie Parasite?
I did.
That was an excellent movie.
It was a fantastic movie.
I would take that over any Fast and Furious movie. Any.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And Donno, if you watch the trailer, there's roughly 20 explosions just within that trailer.
Wow.
And so I said to a friend of mine, I said, man, the script writing for this must have been, we need an explosion every 5 minutes or else this movie is going to suck and our viewers are going to hate it. And then another script writer said, well, guys, if we're doing that, why don't we study every Michael Bay film? And then we'll learn from that.
Is he not involved in the Fast and Furious movies?
I don't think he is.
I don't think he is either.
I don't think he is. But they're just hey, it's a reference. Hey, we got to include as many explosions as we can. And then the head writer was like, first off, you're promoted. Second off, whose house are we going to get wasted and watch these Michael Bay films as we write the script for the next Fast and the Furious 9? I mean, Donald, there's a spaceship at the end of the trailer.
That makes no sense.
Huh? What? What are we doing here? I was in 3rd grade when this second one came out.
Whoa, no, wow, that makes me feel old. I was
Omar
18.
Kelly said the same thing.
Yeah.
So.
Wasn't there a recent Fast and Furious film? And again, I haven't seen any of them since 2003, so forgive me if I get them all mixed up. But wasn't there one when The Rock stopped a missile in midair, he jumped onto a missile?
Yeah, he pushes it, I think, or something.
It's insane.
Nice. Yes. Well, there's that one.
This must stop. They have to stop making.
They drag the big. It's I think it's a bank. Is it it's like the what do you call I guess it's a cellar or the area where the vault. Oh, that's right. It's the vault. Yeah. They drag the vault through the city with chains. I want to say they jumped the shark, but that's not fair. They've jumped society. Okay. They've jumped the laws of physics.
And here's what I mean when I say it's making people stupid, okay? Do you remember a movie, it came out around 2012 or 2013, called Drive with Ryan Gosling? Do you remember that film? I've seen it.
I've heard a lot about it. I've
it's
never
really
seen
good.
it,
Like,
though.
I've seen it a couple
heard
times.
a lot about it.
It's really good, but it's like it's not a popcorn algorithm. It's kind of like an artsier, dramatic flick, right? It's character development, moves a little slowly. When that movie came out, okay, this was around 2012, whatever studio put the movie out decided, if we're going to get people to actually go see this, we obviously need to push two angles. We need to push the fact that Ryan Gosling is in it, and he's incredibly good looking, and we need to really promote the whole driving fast angle. And so when they made the trailers for that movie, they made it look like a Fast and the Furious type of movie when it really wasn't that. It was more of like an indie-style, dramatic, character-driven flick, and I really enjoyed it because I'm into that sort of stuff, okay? But the thing about it was, when that movie came out in theaters, a woman, I think in Texas, went and saw the movie, and she was so upset that it wasn't an idiot, popcorn algorithm Fast and the Furious movie. She actually I don't think she won, but she actually sued the movie studio for like false advertising because she was so angry she didn't like the movie because she thought, oh, there are going to be explosions and maybe Jason Statham and Vin Diesel are going to show up and they're going to start driving really fast and they're going to be The Rock's going to show up and he's going to be redirecting torpedoes in midair and all this nonsense. And it just turned out to be kind of a slow, dark, character-driven movie. And she sued the movie studio. And stuff like that makes me realize the Fast and the Furious movies are making people so dumb.
It's dumbed us down.
It's dumbed us down.
Right? Like, the way she reacted was kind of the way I approach, like, Watchmen, right? Like, the movie Watchmen, I appreciated it. I really loved the movie.
I liked it.
Right? And if you look into the backstory of it, it's fantastic. I remember hearing so many people be like, man, Watchmen was so boring. There was no action whatsoever. Why would anyone pay to see that? Like, I'm sorry, not everything is Superman versus Batman, okay? Right. Like, and don't mind the fact that Superman versus Batman sucked. It blew chunks, okay? So I just
Martha.
Yeah. Oh my God. And then there's a scene where is it Superman is having the bad dream with like the insects, or is it Batman? I don't remember.
I only
it was
watched
such
it
a crap
once.
movie.
Yeah, I don't remember. I just remember that like Batman was about to kill him, and then Superman just said his mother's name, and then Batman realized, oh my God, your mother has the same name as my mother. I can't kill you now. We have to be friends now because your mother's name is Martha, and my mother's name was Martha. It's ridiculous. It's absurd.
Yeah, I am not a fan of the Fast. I joke about it because there's a legitimate cult following to it. Like, this is real. Like, they're not making these movies just to lose money.
Yeah,
like,
they're making them because every time
people love them, people eat them up.
Every time they make
Bill
one,
Simmons.
it makes billions of dollars.
Bill Simmons is like a huge fan of the Fast and the Furious. So of course he is. Why wouldn't he be? Right? Like, this is rewatchables classic.
I would always get so annoyed whenever there was a weekend when a new Fast and Furious movie would come out. And I'd happen to go to the movie theater to watch like a new foreign flick. And then when I'm there, there's a line out the door of the AMC. And it's like, I can't get in here. And they're like, hey, bro, the line's over here. I'm like, dude, I'm seeing Parasite. I'm not seeing the Fast and the Furious 45. Like, no, are you sure? I thought that's the only movie. Yeah, stand in line here, bro, behind these 600 people. Like, no, I'm not here for that. I'm here for the new French film. Like, what are you doing? I'm not here for your Fast and Furious. Oh,
I'm not here to see Vin Diesel mumble his way through the entire movie. You know what kills Rob's family.
Do you know Vin Diesel has a clause in his contract, like with the studio, that he cannot lose a fight on screen because it'll hurt his brand?
Well, I also believe that part of the reason The Rock is no longer in it is because of Vin Diesel, right?
I didn't know that. Are they not friends? What happened?
Marlins just tied the game, baby. Marlins going for the 4-game sweep. Let's go, Marlins.
Later this hour, we're going to talk some Dolphins NFL draft with Kyle Krabs from DolphinsWire.com and the Draft Network. But when we come back, Aguirre is here to celebrate the he just did a random pop-in. Alex,
that was great. That was fantastic.
He just did a random pop-in to celebrate. When we come back, we're going to talk about what happened to the Miami Heat last night. Keep it locked right here to the only locally owned sports station in South Florida. We are OnSideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Listen to OnsideRadio.com anywhere by downloading the MyTuner Radio app in your app store. Or go to MyTunerRadio.com on your web browser. OnsideRadio.com. South Florida sports leader.
Hello, Inter Miami CF fans. Download the Drink AR app and play inside a first-of-its-kind virtual soccer stadium, hosted by Bodega Trevento and Inter Miami CF, and celebrate your passion for soccer from the comfort of your own home. Find the download links on our Instagram account at Treventus and get our wines delivered straight to your home with a discount for all Inter Miami CF fans. Discover Trevento, a shared passion.
Inter Miami fans, time to find out more about your favorite soccer team with OnsideRadio.com's IMCF Football Focus. Here's Austin Robillard.
And yet another signing for Inter Miami this offseason. It just does not stop. We are a couple days away from the home opener, and the club announced just this past Monday, Nick Marshman, the current Feyenoord keeper, is going to join the club in July when his contract is set to expire. The 30-year-old keeper will take up an international roster spot, leaving Inter Miami now with 9 international players come summertime, and at the moment they only have 7 international roster spots in their name. Expect some roster moves to be made by this front office by Friday when roster compliance is needed.
Keep up with the latest on La Rosa Negra by subscribing on most platforms. Search Onside Radio.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yo, in about 12 minutes, we're going to talk some Miami Dolphins, some NFL draft with Kyle Krabs. In an hour, we're going to talk more Heat basketball. I say more because I'm about to talk some Heat myself. Ira Winterman is going to join me at 4:20. 5:20, we're going to talk some more Dolphins. And did the Marlins get a base hit? Game-winning run, baby! Well, potential game-winning run. And wow, the cable froze. What the hell happened? The cable just went out. Ah! The cable just went out. Like they got a base hit. Yeah, the Marlins got a hit. And then we just lost the cable. This is crazy. The Earth's every other channel's working. This is wild. Tito just flipped the channel to Bally Sports Sun, and they're showing the Heat replay. Bally Sports Florida is all of a sudden blacked out. Wow, I guess the globalists just couldn't accept the
Big
fact
Brother,
that,
once again, coming through.
Well, here's what we're talking about. Alex Jones here. If you're listening to this transmission, you are part of the resistance, okay? We can't let people see the Marlins winning a game. Wow, it's this guy. I mean, I don't think it's us, Tito. I don't think flipping around is going to help. I think this is we got Europa League on at least. Whose PK was that?
Arsenal is down 2-0.
What?
Yeah. Is this old? No, this is not old.
No,
this is
that's
legitimate.
not old. Oh my
Wow.
God. No, Arsenal's up 2-0. What are
Arsenal's
you looking
up
at?
to? Oh, that's my bad. Got the Got classic scoreboard mix-up.
Tito, my God.
I'm on fire today.
The 2 is right next to Arsenal.
Who did we bet on again, Donno?
Okay, so here's so we bet on Arsenal on the money line. We bet on, I think, Man United and Villarreal on a parlay, a 2-team parlay, because they were both pretty lopsided odds. And I don't know what you did with the Roma Ajax game, but I put some money on Ajax to win on the money line, and I also put a little bit of money on a draw. So I'm going to be in the plus unless Roma win. If Roma win, then I lose. But if either Ajax win or a draw, then I'm going to win.
I'm only in on the Ajax money line, which is I look like an idiot now. You know, Donno, I got to give you credit. For all the terrible losses you and I suffered, Europa League, man, you are money.
I'm telling you.
You are a soothsayer when it comes to Europa League.
Europa League and international breaks, like for the national teams, I'm excellent in those. I make more money than like the GDP of some small countries, like during international breaks. Right? Like it's like Donno makes like, you know, a certain amount, and then like Zimbabwe is like right below me in during international breaks. It's crazy how well that I do on international breaks. So, yeah, Roma and Ajax are still scoreless. So, I'm going to win. It was like plus 295 for a draw. So, I would actually, my preferred outcome in that game would be a draw. And actually, that'd be fine, because even though I'm not a Roma fan, I wouldn't mind seeing Roma go through, because they're the only Italian club left in European competition. So, like, I don't cheer for that club specifically, but it is good when clubs from a country advance, because it's good for the European coefficient and a lot of very complicated mumbo-jumbo. So we're keeping our eyes on the Europa League action today. And, you know, I'm happy for Big O, because O is a long-suffering Arsenal fan, and there's plenty of time for them to blow it, but a 2-0 lead is not a bad start there against Slavia Prague when they drew the first game. I think 1-1 was the score there. Something that wasn't so fun to watch were the Miami Heat last night. I miscalculated last night, Tito. I say this, and I'm very selective about nights where I stay up to watch the late-night games. Like on Sunday night, I felt good about the Heat against Portland. So I stayed up for the duration, like 12:45, 1 o'clock, whatever it was in the morning. And that was one of the most complete victories of the season, what the Heat did to Portland. It was a wire-to-wire dominant win, and the score was not even indicative of how lopsided the game was. 2 nights ago, when the Heat took on Phoenix, I decided no chance I'm staying up. I'm going to go to bed by halftime. And it ended up being a fantastic decision, because they got embarrassed in that game. Last night, I'm thinking the bounce back is coming. Yeah, I don't care if it's the second night of a back-to-back. The Heat are going to surprise us on Wednesday night against Denver, and that was a calculated error on my part. Why does our offense keep thinking that it's 1997, like the way that the Heat have been scoring or lack of scoring? The Heat lose last night in Denver despite no Jamal Murray, who suffered that awful injury in the previous Denver game. 123-106, the Nuggets beat the Heat. Heat got humiliated on the glass. There was a spot in that game. We're going to talk about this with Ira in the 4 o'clock hour. Midway through the third quarter, the Heat had 13 team rebounds. And at that point, Adebayo and Achua had 2 rebounds combined. And the Nuggets at that point had 23. And I think Michael Porter had 9 of those at that point. I mentioned no Jamal Murray, who was out the game prior with that terrible knee injury. Get better soon, man. You always hate to see that. And then Michael Porter, no problem for them. 25 and 10. Nikola Jokic, who I think we knew was going to kill the Heat, ended up with 17 and 11. Did you see the way Duncan Robinson was getting spun last night? Oh, man. That's one of those games where you see what a liability he can be defensively when he's getting exposed on switches. That was really bad. So coming off an ugly loss like last night, I don't want to hear people use the second night of a back-to-back as an excuse. They also played terribly the night before in Phoenix. That was the first night of a back-to-back. That was just as bad, if not worse. So don't give me the second night of a back-to-back as an excuse. And don't blame the altitude in Denver either, because have some dignity. Like that's as if they never lose at home. So I might as well now tackle the roundtable question for today, all right? And all the hosts are weighing in on this. You know, Tito and Sean this morning, Kai in the midday, me. After watching the Heat lose again on the road in Denver last night, is it realistic to think this team can make a deep run in the NBA playoffs? In your opinion, what is their postseason ceiling? Guys, based on what I'm seeing here, their postseason ceiling is get into the second round and lose. I don't see them doing any better than that. Like, they can win a first-round 4-5 matchup. I think that this team is deep enough and well-coached enough to get through one round of the playoffs. But, you know, you go up in the second round against a team like Brooklyn, against a team like Milwaukee, or a team like Philadelphia, you're going to get run out of the building. I hate to say it. You know, you think about the factors last year. I don't put as much stock into the bubble thing as some people do. Like, I'm not going to say the reason why the Heat got to the finals last year is because they were in a bubble. Everyone was in the bubble. I mean, it's that, like, people try to come up with reasons why that was an advantage for the Heat and for nobody. They were all in the same bubble last year. It wasn't because of the bubble. That team was just meshing last year. Think about how critical Jay Crowder was. He's no longer on the squad. They're going to miss him in the playoffs. Think about how crucial Goran Dragic was. And, of course, he was missed in the finals, but how crucial he was in getting there. And I pray they can get a healthy, consistent Dragic in the playoffs. But the old man is dealing with so many issues right now, injury-wise, back spasms, fitness. I can't look into your eyes right now and say I'm confident that they can get full-time Dragon Dragic in the playoffs. We're not getting it right now. And, you get so dependent on older players. Trevor Ariza is up there in years as well. You just think last year, think about how critical it was Tyler Hero peaking in the playoffs. He's not nearly as consistent now as he was last year. Duncan Robinson, same thing. What a Jekyll and Hyde player. It wasn't the case for him last year. Can I get any semblance of Oladipo? I mean, Tito, is there anything new on Oladipo's status? Like, did he wake up on the wrong side of the bed this morning and he's out for another 6 months? Like, do we know anything about Oladipo? Because if he doesn't play in the playoffs, I think we're toast.
Nothing yet. I haven't seen anything yet, so looks like we're still kind of figuring it out.
This team just doesn't have it, man. They don't have it. They don't have whatever spark they had last year, and that's in spite of the fact that Jimmy Butler is having a better season this year than he was last year. This team's too Jimmy dependent. I mean, Bam Adebayo, great player, but Bam is just not ready to be able to put the team on his back every single night. Jimmy Butler is the only guy you have on the roster that's capable of doing that. Bam is not there yet. So I cannot trust this Heat team to make a deep run in the NBA playoffs. It's not in the cards for them this year. Their postseason ceiling, I think, is the second round, and I'm not going to be happy about that. I mean, listen, I'm going to be happy if they can get through one playoff series, but a second-round exit, to me, that's a failure, because the standard that you set a year ago is you're an NBA Finals team last year. You need to be building on that and fortifying on that, and instead, the Heat have gotten worse, and other teams in the East have gotten better. So I'm not bullish on the Heat right now. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be in a playoff team, but I really don't think they're going anywhere, man. All right, so when we come back, we're going to talk some NFL draft and some Miami Dolphins. What direction are we looking in at number 6? And I want to have a conversation about 18 because the Dolphins could go in a number of different directions there. Kyle Krabs at Grinding the Tape on Twitter, editor of DolphinsWire.com, lead analyst for the Draft Network. He's going to join us next here on Onside Radio. Hey, Onside Radio understands gaming is a big part of the sports landscape. That's why every day we keep you updated with some of the latest gaming news with Onside Radio's E-Minute, hosted by Toast, Kai, and Michael Christian. If you miss it, it's podcasted daily. Search Onside Radio on all platforms. Subscribe, rate, and review. Onside Radio, the station gamers call home.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Listen to every Inter Miami CF match on your home for La Rosa Negra. OnSideRadio.com. Catch us every day on the MyTuner Radio app. Get the brutal honesty every day with the Onside Zone with a big O from 12 noon to 3 p.m. every weekday on your home for sports talk in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
Parents, we know we can't protect our kids from everything. Eventually, they're going to bump their heads or scrape their knees. But we can protect them from 6 types of cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, is a common preventable virus that can cause cancer later in life. The HPV vaccine prevents human papillomavirus and all the cancers it can cause. The American Cancer Society recommends getting your sons and daughters the HPV vaccine starting at age 9 to protect them later in life.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnSideRadio.com sports update.
Marlins currently battling with the Braves in extra innings. Bottom of the 9th, 2 men on for the Braves. Marlins lead 6-5. 2-2 count. Marlins looking to try to sneak this one out for the W. They got the win last night. They beat the Braves in extra innings 6-5. Jesus Aguilar with the go-ahead RBI hit to give the Marlins the win. Florida Panthers take on the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight in a battle for first place in the Central Division. Puck drop slated for 7 p.m. That game is on NBC Sports Network. Carolina, Tampa Bay, and the Panthers all knotted up at 58 points apiece atop the Central Division. Miami Heat losing to the Denver Nuggets 123-111. Bam Adebayo with 21 points. Heat lost 2 in a row. They look for revenge on Friday. They take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Tip-off is slated for 8 p.m. And in the NBA, LaMarcus Aldridge announcing his retirement due to an irregular heartbeat that was discovered following his latest game. Aldridge played 15 years in the NBA before his sudden retirement. The Onside Sports Update, I'm Tito Bonacci. Coming up next, it's more Man of the Match with Alex Donno right here, OnSideRadio.com.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
We're 2 weeks away, my friends, from the NFL draft. It's going to be so fun. Kyle Krabs joins us. You know Kyle very well. We always love when he takes time on Thursdays to join us. Lead analyst from the Draft Network, editor of DolphinsWire.com. He also hosts the excellent Draft Dudes podcast and the Locked on Dolphins podcast. Good afternoon, Kyle. 2 weeks away, man. How busy you getting these days?
Oh, well, how much time you got, Alex? It's a gauntlet, but I'm excited for it to come. It's always an exciting time of year, and as they say, hope springs eternal for all 32 teams. That's why I love the draft. It's not like the Super Bowl where there's only 2 teams playing. All 32 teams get in on the action, and everybody's going to walk away like they're a winner.
There's a lot of silliness out there, Kyle. One of the dumbest things. I should be nicer than that. One of the most surprising things I've seen all week was Mel Kiper's hypothesis in his latest mock that the Dolphins are, after having traded from 3 to 12 and back up to 6, his idea is they trade back up to number 4. This is a two-parter. Part one, I'm guessing you probably don't agree with that hypothesis. And then part two would be, do you think if the Dolphins were to trade, is there still a chance they might trade down from number 6? Do you think they stand pat at 6?
Yeah, I can think of a lot more aggressive adjectives than don't agree to describe my feelings for a trade up for Miami after they moved down 2 or 3 spots to begin with. And I believe Kuiper went on one of their specials when that mock came out and was discussing about how a large motivation for that was strictly he felt Pitt should go at 4 and he wanted Trey Lance to go at 6. So that tells you the thought process that went into that trade that was crafted. And I know this is the first year Mel's done trades in his mocks, but come on, Mel, like Miami's not moving up. There's no way, because that trade would have left Miami with less draft capital in this year's draft and less draft capital in next year's draft than what they had before they traded down from 3 in the first place. It was asinine. So he had recommended a 2 and a 3 to get it done, and Miami would be picking at 4 instead of 3 and would have taken a 4 and turned it into a 5. So, no. As far as trading down, I thought this was interesting. Kevin Clark from The Ringer went on Bill Simmons' podcast on Monday and was talking about one of the conspiracy theories around the league regarding the Dolphins' decision not to trade down from 3, but their decision to come back up to 6. And he used the phrase he used was that the Dolphins, the team felt it was still the quote-unquote catbird seat, which is a position of leverage to take advantage and potentially parlay this into another move for another quarterback desperate team. So I thought that was very interesting to hear him talk about what some around the league felt the Dolphins' decision was, and if that opportunity did not present itself, say Devontae Smith is your top target if you're the Dolphins, and you're going to guarantee you're going to have the chance to draft him at 6, but if it doesn't work, but you feel like you would have more wiggle room for a team like Denver or Carolina if they want to end up jumping the Detroit Lions, if Penei Sewell falls or something like that, that would all be on the table for Miami to move down and take advantage of teams that are getting desperate based on the way that the board falls. But I would consider it a long shot for Miami to have that fall into place. It would have to be the perfect scenario for them, I think, to do that. But I would certainly say, if there is a team that's willing to overpay for an asset, Chris Greer's going to find him, and he's going to take advantage of it.
Kyle Krabs joins us here. You can follow him on Twitter at Grinding the Tape. Check out his work at DolphinsWire.com and on the Draft Network. This is an interesting question posed on Twitter. Our listener Mike wanted me to ask you, going by draft grades, he wants me to ask you, how do you rate this year's quarterback class versus last year's quarterback class?
I like this year's class a lot. I think last year's draft class had 3 quarterbacks for me that I had graded as top 12 prospects. The order was Joe Burrow, Tua, and then Justin Herbert. Jordan Love you saw the talent, but you definitely felt he was a couple years away, and that's why I didn't hate the fact that he went to Green Bay, a place he could sit and marinate for a while. This year's class, I don't know. I kind of see them stacking similarly as far as the first 3. I think there's a group of 3 that I really like, that being Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and then I really like Zach Wilson as well, and he's just sitting right around 10 for me. You have the same kind of player, in my opinion, that you had in Jordan Love, with Trey Lance, a guy who ideally maybe doesn't play this year. He's got 17 starts coming from an FCS program. But then you also get a couple of the middle round guys, and I think that's the divider for me, is that this class is more deep, but I see the top of it as far as the tiers distributing similarly to how it did last year.
This time of year, I take every report with a grain of salt. I saw something from the draft scouts, Matt Miller, where he says that Brian Flores really likes Penn State linebacker Micah Parsons. Is that a player, Kyle, like if he were to fall to 18, do you think that's a player who could really fit in Miami?
If you would have asked me this in March, I'm not sure how I would have felt about it. I was kind of on the the fence about Micah fitting in Penn State and thinking about that and that investment as potentially a Mike linebacker or middle linebacker. And obviously the Dolphins bringing in Bernard McKinney, and he's going to man the middle. But then, like, the whole thing with Kyle Van Noy happened, and I changed the projection for Micah Parsons, and instead of projecting him at Mike linebacker, I projected him to the role that Kyle Van Noy has played. And their builds are very similar. They're both 6'3", 250 with shorter arms, and I know that some people kind of scoff at arm length, but as far as playing off of blocks and separation skills, it is something to take note of. Micah Parsons has experience as a pass rusher. He was a pass rusher, defensive end at the prep level before coming to Penn State and transitioning off the ball. And his biggest question mark was his ability in coverage. Well, you think about Kyle Van Noy and the usage that the Dolphins had with him, and Kyle Van Noy was a guy who played 70% of his snaps on the line of scrimmage as an outside linebacker. So projecting Micah Parsons, who has experience rushing the passer in the prep level and has questions in coverage, into a role in which 70% of the time he's going to be on the line of scrimmage as a outside linebacker hybrid type who can play in blitz situations. And I thought his third down value was highly rooted in his ability to be a pressure player and attack the line of scrimmage. Yeah, I think him stepping into the Kyle Van Noy role, the difference between those two guys, really for me, is Kyle Van Noy is a 35th percentile or 40th percentile athlete at the NFL level, and Micah Parsons is a 95th to 98th percentile athlete at the NFL level. So Micah Parsons is a much more explosive version. I think you can project him into this defense of Kyle Van Noy, so I can see why that connection exists.
Kyle, before the Dolphins, traded down from 3 when they had the third pick, a lot of people wondered, hey, Penei Sewell, is that going to be a guy that they could draft? Now that they're at number 6, it seems a little bit less realistic he would even be on the board there. But as far as the Dolphins' offensive line goes, Kyle, are you pretty happy with what the Dolphins have going into next year? Or, how aggressive should they be in pursuing linemen in the draft at some point, if not in the first round?
Yeah, I don't think they're done. I think it would be a mistake to be content. One thing that I've been trying to, with this new regime, is keep track of, investments that they make in certain positions and looking for trends. And the offensive line group is fun because they've made what I would consider to be 9 significant investments into the offensive lines over the last 2 years. And there's a pretty persistent theme amongst what those players look like. The average weight of those guys is 323 pounds. And all of those guys, except for one, if they logged a standing broad jump, so Robert Hunt and Solomon Kinley did not participate in athletic testing due to injuries. Hunt had a groin issue. Solomon Kinley had a foot issue in the pre-draft process last year. But 6 of the other 7 guys logged a standing broad jump that was in the 70th percentile or better when they were going through their respective pre-draft processes. So Eric Flowers was the only one that did not qualify, and he was in like the 60th percentile. So they like guys that are big, heavy, and they like guys that have lower body explosiveness. And that certainly might not be the filter that the Dolphins are looking at it through, but that theme exists across the board. And there's a short list of, this is up on Dolphins Wire, and I did it for a podcast for Locked On Dolphins. You got like 7 or 8 guys that qualify as potential top 100 picks, and I'm looking for an interior offensive lineman no matter what. Eric Flowers, whether he's here this year or not, and he's going to be tough to move because of his guaranteed money for 2021, he's not a long-term answer at the position. You need to upgrade that position. And the center position also sits as something that does not have a long-term confirmed solution. So interior offensive line, you can make the argument for potentially getting a tackle and moving Robert Hunt inside to guard, but you still have to address the center issue either way. So they had an offer that was there for David Andrews. Even after signing Matt Skura, I would expect they'll go with the center at some point. And given their connection to Quinn Miners, the fact that he came from Wisconsin Whitewater, which is the same school that Eric Studsville came from, the fact that they worked with Quinn Miners at the Senior Bowl, I think there's a lot there, and he meets all of the qualifications based on what the Dolphins' trends at the position have.
Really good info there. And hey, looking at number 6, I think you and I are both in agreement that if Kyle Pitts was there, it'd be hard. If you or I were the GM, it'd be hard to pass up on Pitts. If Pitts was off the board, though, Kyle, who do you think the Dolphins would go with at number 6 if Kyle Pitts is not an option?
you really get the sense that Jamar Chase would be the next guy in the pecking order, which I think is interesting because, for as dynamic as he is, and he tested a little better than I thought he would, and as young as he is a player who I don't think his strengths as they currently exist would be the most immediate benefit to Tua Tagovailoa based off what his play was in 2020. So the Dolphins kind of have this weird intersection where you have to ask yourself, are we going to change the criteria that we are looking for to accommodate Tua Tagovailoa's style of play in 2020, or are we going to anticipate he is going to develop at a certain level in which it's not going to be as problematic that Jamar Chase at times is a guy who wins in contested situations and back shoulder throws and versus these bigger separators, which Tua seemed to see more cleanly in 2020. But from all indications, it's like their pecking order is Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, and then you get into Devontae Smith if he's not there and potentially entertaining a trade down if all three of those guys are still on the board because you still feel like you're going to get one of the other ones depending on what somebody's going to offer you.
When we spoke last Thursday, I asked you about a couple of unfair-sounding reports about Justin Fields, and things have only gotten worse. Like earlier this week, I hear Chris Mortensen saying that that he's concerned about the fact that Fields used to play baseball, which is like, dude, some of the best quarterbacks, like John Elway, Dan Marino, Kyler Murray, these guys, a lot of these guys, Patrick Mahomes, a lot of these guys, like, what does playing baseball have to do with anything? Is this, like, Kyle, are these reports about Fields and this, like, weird smear campaign, do you think that maybe, some teams who are in the teens or maybe higher up in the top 10 are trying to spread these reports, hoping that they drop to whatever team wants them?
I don't know where it's coming from, but if you've been following the money in a lot of the sports books, Justin Fields over the course of the past 7 to 10 days has gone from plus 500 in some places as odds to be the number 3 overall pick to now in some places he's minus 200. So The money overwhelmingly has been pouring in on Justin Fields. And I know of at least 2 books that at one juncture or another have locked the bet because of so much money just flooding in on Fields at number 3. So part of me feels like this is coming from other camps from players that of quarterbacks. This is a highly competitive quarterback market. Who would benefit most from those questions being out there about Justin Fields other than the next quarterback in line? So I think that's another interesting layer here. And that was something that was alluded to earlier this week by Scott Pioli on NFL Network. He said a lot of the times the misinformation campaigns come from the camps of other players who would be the ones most directly standing to benefit from a player sliding in the draft.
Makes sense. I hadn't thought about that. Okay, you got to explain this to me, Kyle. Do I owe you? Oh my God, is it your birthday today, dude? I just went onto your Twitter page and balloons started flying. Wow, dude, Kyle, happy birthday, my friend, and I appreciate you taking the time. It's funny because I just happened to pull up your Twitter account and then I see the little balloons rising up. So everyone wish a happy birthday to Kyle Krabs at Grinding the Tape on Twitter. I cannot thank you enough. And everyone check out this man's work at the Draft Network, DolphinsWire.com. Every Dolphin fan should be on Dolphins Wire every single day and listen to his pods, Locked On Dolphins and the Draft Dudes. Kyle, happy birthday, my friend. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it.
Great stuff there. Awesome. All right, when we come back, we got to talk about what the Marlins just did. We'll have that and more coming up. Hey, every day at Onside Radio, our hosts sit down at the round table to tackle the most important local or national sports headlines. The round table is podcasted daily. Search Onside Radio on all platforms. Subscribe, rate, and review to listen to all kinds of station segments. OnsideRadio.com is the home for South Florida sports.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk. You can connect with us at OnSideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnSideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
For over 20 years, Mr. Glass has been committed to the safety and satisfaction of our clients. Our products are the culmination of innovative engineering, aesthetic appeal, and the highest levels of quality. Through our legacy, Mr. Glass strives to impart the true meaning of quality, service, and sustainability to new generations. Reputation, experience, and trust is why clients choose Mr. Glass. Live the future now. Locate a dealer near you today.
At Baptist Health, we are ready
to serve, to treat,
to safely proceed with your procedure.
We're ready for ER visits and office visits with skilled surgeons,
advanced medicine,
and multidisciplinary teams.
We're ready for new arrivals
and new recoveries.
We are ready.
We're ready to diagnose, treat, and manage
anything that comes our way
with exceptional care and comfort.
With the same preparedness and compassion you've come to expect from Baptist Health.
And we are ready.
We're ready.
We're ready
to care for you.
Can I get a captain?
Captain and what?
Captain and Ginger.
I can't hear you.
Captain and Ginger.
He was a captain and Ginger. Captain and Ginger. He was a captain and Ginger.
Captain Morgan, official partner of Major League Soccer.
Every Thursday, NBA fans can catch one of the best basketball shows in the country when Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman host Inside the Paint. Listen to two of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans. OnSideRadio.com.
Big O for M&S Air Conditioning. You know, air quality in your home and business is more important than ever. That's why you've got to call M&S Air Conditioning and let them install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit. Folks, it attracts, captures, and destroys biological contaminants to improve your air quality. With stellar customer service, answering your call from 7:30 a.m. till 9 o'clock p.m. For more info on high-efficiency air filters and their preventative maintenance plans, visit M&S Air Conditioning at ac-florida.com.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Huge thanks to Kyle Krabs talking some Dolphins and some draft with us. That's always one of our most popular segments. Kyle, and it's all Kyle, not me. I mean, Kyle does a fantastic job. And while I'm talking to Kyle, I can see out of the corner of my eye to my left, I see Tito freaking out. Then I look over to my right at the TV where he had the Marlins game on, and I could see a Brave crossing home plate, and then, you know, everyone's like throwing Gatorade at each other and celebrating. Tito, how did the fish blow it, man? I was really thinking
Dylan Floro, man.
We're gonna
walk. They basically allowed two on, then walked the next two, then walked another one,
awful,
and then walk off hit. Look, man, like I don't know. I'm not trying to hold the Marlins to this like you need to be competing for a championship type of expectation, but 3 of your 7 losses are bullpen related.
Yep.
And this was supposed to be an area of strength, and it's without question the biggest area of weakness for this team, right? Like, Yimi Garcia has been reliable, but, like, you cannot rely on him every single night. That's not the way this works.
Reliable, but you cannot rely on him.
So, okay, reliable in the sense that he can use him back-to-back nights, but you can't use him every single outing.
Yeah.
So, like, it's just like this bullpen. This is now 2 years in a row that it's the same thing. So I don't want to get frustrated because it's like we're talking about the Marlins here, but at the same time,
let's get frustrated because it's one thing to lose. It's another thing to lose like this repeatedly.
Right. Very true. And
you can get frustrated.
They battled back. They were down 5-3, and they stormed back to win. They were up 6-5, and then just epic catastrophe of epic proportions, just unbelievable.
Yeah, man, it sucks. I thought the Marlins had it. I thought they had a 4-game sweep of the Braves, but here we are, man. All right, we'll kick off the 4 o'clock hour when we come back. Remember, Ira Winderman is going to join us at 4:20 to talk some Miami Heat. 5:20, we're going to talk with Juan Cardona, talk more Dolphins, NFL, some crypto with him. At around 5:35, 5:40, this is going to be a huge thrill for me. The CMO of my boyhood club, Internazionale Milano, is going to join us to talk about a cool campaign that they have going. So I'm going to be totally geeking out a little bit later in the 5 o'clock hour, but stick with us. 4 o'clock hour coming up. A certain YouTube personality / boxer could be in a little trouble here. We'll talk about that. And the NFL is suggesting that their players and personnel get vaccinated. We'll get that info to you as well here. 4 o'clock hour coming up here on Onside Radio. Hey, Saturdays from 1 to 3 p.m., baseball fans can go deep into the count with Alex Aguirre and Christian Chase. Catch the show that talks Marlins and all the big stories in the major leagues. Every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m., Seamheads of a New Home. Listen to Deep Into the Count exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to the home of Inter Miami CF.
His strike is a decent one. It's fired into the top right corner. Gonzalo Higuain opens his account for Inter Miami.
OnsideRadio.com, where the passion for La Rosa Negra runs deep. You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. OnsideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds,
Can you count, suckers?
here's your Onside Radio E-Report with Kai Chen Chisholm.
Evil Geniuses, a gaming organization based in North America, has announced that they will partner with cryptocurrency company Coinbase. Crypto Bro is coming to gaming, and now Coinbase will be a shirt sponsor on the Evil Geniuses shirts for their games and teams in CSGO and Dota 2, as well as its FGC roster. The CEO of Evil Geniuses, Nicole LaPointe Jameson, said, "These collaborations allow us to invest back into our community in a meaningful way. By welcoming Coinbase to the Evil Geniuses family, we're giving our fans access to the largest cryptocurrency exchange in North America and the informative and educational tool they'll need to stay competitive in their ever-evolving global marketplace." This is huge, as Coinbase did announce its first venture into esports when they partnered with Blast Premier. Now they will be having their shirt sponsorship with Evil Geniuses.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the Onside Radio E-Report. You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com, broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, 4 o'clock hour of Man of the Match with Alex Donno. Oh, I'm Alex Donno, and I'm with you guys here on OnsideRadio.com, taking you up until 6 o'clock tonight. It's Thursday. I got to tell you, I feel really good today. I had and a lot of people who get the vaccines, and it's different for everybody. A lot of people, whether it's the Pfizer or the Moderna, have said that like the second one is the one that will usually kind of kick your ass. Like I know our buddy Kai, he did a show today from home. Yesterday he was feeling like absolute crud. He's feeling a lot better today. Thankfully, I heard his show today. I'm glad he's feeling better. Yeah, that was his second Moderna. I had my first Pfizer earlier this week, but I felt so good the last couple days. I didn't see what they actually put in the syringe. Is it possible, Tito, that they gave me some kind of a steroid or like a super soldier serum instead of the first round of Pfizer? Because my side effects have been the opposite. Like I actually feel more energetic and like more active than I would have before getting the shot.
Donno, I'm going to double down on this. I think they might have given you like the symbiote, like
what is that?
Like Venom level symbiote.
Oh.
Like you could be turning into Spider-Man's arch nemesis.
Dude,
in
I'd
the
be
next
down.
2 hours.
I'd be absolutely down. I mean, I would want
it's a
to.
sick power.
It is. Yeah, I didn't see the movie that came out with Tom Hardy a few years ago. I didn't see it. Was that any good?
No.
Not good?
It was atrocious.
I love Tom Hardy. Like,
he's a fantastic
it's
actor.
It's hard to think he could be in a bad movie. He's
right.
so good.
It's funny because when they did the I guess it was like E3 event for the movie and stuff, he talked about in like his big announcement, it was like, I really loved 45 minutes of this movie. And for the main actor to say that he likes 45 minutes out of a 2-hour movie, it's not a good indication. It was an atrocity. And it's just another example of Sony screwing things up per usual. So.
Wow. Sometimes actors can just be like such divas. Like at some point, I'm not sure exactly when, because I think it would have come out already if not for COVID, but Top Gun 2 is coming out. And one of the main actors in Top Gun 2 is Miles Teller, who is playing Goose's son. Now,
excellent actor.
Yes, but I really hate him, and I'll explain to you why. And this is kind of also why I hate Tito. So I was listening to this is going back over a year ago. I was listening to like radio shows on Radio Row, when the Super Bowl was down here in Miami. And I was listening to the Levitard show. This is over a year ago, but I remember it because I was so annoyed. And I was listening to Miles Teller was being interviewed by Levitard. He was promoting Top Gun 2. And at some point in the interview, Miles Teller, like this guy is in Top Gun 2, and he said he never saw Top Gun. So I'm like,
wow, what a visionary.
How in the bleep do you take a role and go through the filming for a sequel without having watched the original film? Like, it's irresponsible. Like,
I think it's brave and courageous.
I mean, if you're going to be in Top Gun, like, how arrogant of a douche do you have to be in Top Gun 2 and not at any point go back and watch Top Gun 1?
You keep doing you, Miles. You and I have something else in common now.
Ridiculous. So I don't care how good he was in War Dogs. What else was? I don't know if I've seen Miles Teller in anything else. What else was he in? I'm boycotting. I canceled him. You remember, Alex, last week I had that list of the musicians that I'm canceling. I canceled Selena Gomez is canceled because she ghosted Jimmy Butler. Oh, Miles Teller was in Project X? I like that movie, but it's canceled now. It's done. Bleed for This, was that, he played a boxer in that?
Yeah.
Stupid movie, canceled. I mean, how can you be in Top Gun 2 without having seen Top Gun? It's blasphemy. So he joins the list of celebrities I have canceled. Selena Gomez, done. Lil Nas X, because he supports Satan, done. You're out. Canceled. Miles Teller, canceled. You probably keep up with this stuff better than I do, Alex. Did J-Lo break up with A-Rod? Do we know who dumped who? Because I heard they're no longer an item. Did she dump him or did he dump her? Do we know?
No, I don't know, but I'll have to look that up. But I'm actually interested about that as well, like who broke up with who, because I know they broke up. I just don't know the details.
I guarantee you A-Rod broke up with her.
Let's find out.
And I can tell you why. J-Lo can't keep a man. I mean, how many times has J-Lo been married? Now, she didn't quite get there with A-Rod. It's probably a smart move on A-Rod's part because A-Rod was looking at her resume, right? She, at some point, like 20 years ago, she married one of her backup dancers, divorce. She married Ben Affleck, right? That didn't make it. She married Mark Anthony. That didn't last. Like, you can't get into a long. Now J-Lo is probably an awesome fling, right? Because listen, it's it's J-Lo, okay? That's a great fling, but you can't commit long term to J-Lo. Like, you just can't, because something's gonna go wrong. I mean, J-Lo can't stay in a relationship for whatever reason for more than a few years. It's not gonna happen. Oh man. Oh my God. Oh, by the way, Ray says that he liked the movie Venom. I didn't see it. I love Tom Hardy, but I didn't see Venom. He says it was good, Tito. They already are doing a Venom sequel, and we'll have Spider-Man in Part 2 next year. Well, that's going to be interesting. This is going to be a controversial opinion, because everybody loves that kid Tom Holland, which he's fine, good actor. He's a pretty good Spider-Man. But Tobey Maguire is the only Spider-Man I recognize. I don't think they ever should have switched from Tobey Maguire. The next Avengers movie that comes out, I would like to see Tobey Maguire. I don't care if he's like 50 now. I want to see Tobey Maguire reprise the role of Peter Parker, because I don't know why we have to keep resetting and reloading Spider. Tobey Maguire was fine. And then they brought in that kid, Andrew Garfield from The Social Network, and those movies were terrible. Now they're rebooting it again with Tom Holland. Tom Holland, a great young man, although it's weird. Have you ever heard Tom Holland talk normally? Because he's British. I don't like the fact that English people will take all of our acting gigs. I think it's very disrespectful. Like they just put on their American accents, and it's like, Americans can't get jobs anymore in Hollywood, right? I mean, all the Christian Bales and the Tom Hollands are taking all of our acting gigs. It's very disrespectful. Tobey Maguire is the only Spider-Man that I recognize, my friends. 844-416-8123 is how you get in. That's 844-416-8123 on the text line. You can also watch us streaming live on YouTube and chat with us there. And make sure, if you're on the YouTube stream, just go to YouTube and search for Onside Radio. Make sure you smash the like button, smash the thumbs up, because that pumps our algorithm out there, so more people are going to see us and hear us. So, you follow what's going on in the NFL. The Players Association is promoting NFL players boycott the off-season workouts. The NFL has sent out a memo suggesting players and personnel get vaccinated. The NFL managed to, here's the memo. Use your stadium or training facility as a vaccination site for club staff, players, and eligible family members. This can be done through a vaccination day or its equivalent, which many clubs have already planned, or by making vaccine appointments available to your employees and their families on a convenient and regular basis. Clubs should update the league office of its plans in this respect and percentage of tiered staff vaccinated by April 19th. The league also said top employees who are not getting vaccinated will need to document that they have a valid reason. Tier 1 and 2 employees should be expected to be vaccinated unless they have a bona fide medical or religious ground for not doing so. Any staffer that refuses to be vaccinated without either a religious or medical reason will not be eligible for Tier 1 or 2 status, and therefore will not be permitted to access the football-only restricted area and may not work directly or in close proximity with players. So, one of the reported reasons why players have been boycotting the idea of off-season workouts is citing COVID-19 concerns. And I don't know, it's a little bit iffy because most of them would have had access to both rounds of the vaccine by the time the off-season workouts start in mid-May, and B, if you're not working out at your team facility, you got to work out somewhere, right? So unless you have a very stocked home gym, right, where you can social distance from anybody at home, if you're going out to like the UFit or the 24-hour fitness or something and you're around other people, how is that any less risky than being at your team facility, where the team facility, everyone's getting tested, every day, and it's in theory a cleaner or safer environment. So I don't know. To me, it's a little bit of a reach, and I think that the Players Association is trying to stick it to the owners for expanding to that 17-game season. Man, I think that's what's going on. We got our guy Alex Aguirre in the building. He's taken over for Tito Bonach. Alex, you have a bitter taste in your mouth, and I know you and Christian Chase are going to be shot out of a cannon on Saturday when you host Deep Into the Count, but the Marlins freaking blew it today, man. They had that. You could taste it. They had that 4-game sweep over the Braves, and they blew it.
Oh, Donno. I think I kept hearing Paul Severino, who is the play-by-play commentator for Bally Sports for the Marlins. He kept in the pregame show, he kept saying the Marlins are looking for their first ever sweep against the Braves. And I heard the word ever, and he kept saying it over and over. I'm like,
it's a broadcaster's jinx.
And I'm like, wait, is he serious though? Like, the Marlins been around for almost 30 years, and they've never swept the Braves like in a 4-game series. So I guess a lot was on the line for that sense. But yeah, it would have been nice. But this team taking 3 out of 4 from the the division champs for the last 3 years.
It's still good.
Yeah, I'm super happy. The bats woke up. Adam Duvall had a hell of a series against his former team. So this is the type of games you want to see the Marlins be part of against really good teams. Hang in there. They fought back. They had the lead. They gave up the lead, and then they came back in the 9th. And they still got to sort things out with the bullpen. But in this series, we definitely found out that Yimi Garcia is the closer moving forward.
Yes.
He just couldn't close out today's game because he closed out the last 2 nights. You can't throw him out 3 days in a row. Or especially this early in the season.
Well, they got like a fire alarm.
Yeah,
I could see the little strobe light going.
I was like, "Where's that strobe light coming from?" But yeah,
it's probably a drill, right? Like,
I don't know if we leave or not.
I don't know. I think I'm going to go down with the ship.
Yeah,
I am the captain of this studio,
and I'm the first mate, I guess, and I can't abandon ship either with you.
I mean, I would imagine that they're probably testing it because they've got the home opener on Sunday. But yeah, like, what do you do? The fire alarm is going off here in the building.
If we were in like elementary school and we were one of those kids that never left the school for one of those random fire drills, we'll get a detention. We're in detention. All right, like, because those random fire drills when you were in school,
sure,
like in the middle of, like just to test out the alarm and make sure and run drills for the students and stuff. Yeah, like there'll be a couple kids always straggling in the back or just trying to skip the drill, whatever. Yeah, I think we're one of those hooligans.
Jeez, well, I don't know. I think when we hit the commercial, I'm gonna pop my head outside and make sure that there's not a fire. I want to be on the safe side here because we're it'd be really if we had to break through the window here. I don't know how easy that would be to do. I'd probably I would throw Alex through the window. That's the most blunt object I can find in here. 844-416-8123 is how you get us here on the text line. That's 844-416-8123. Yeah, I mentioned how for a lot of people it's the second dose of the vaccine that kind of kicks your butt. I haven't had my second one yet. Marla texted in, the first dose actually made me feel much worse than the second. I think that was the same thing for my father. He didn't feel that terrible, but after his first dose, he was really tired for 48 hours. He just always wanted to sleep. He was feeling very lethargic. And after the second dose, he was fine. So, I mean, I barely had anything from my first dose. I think they put a Venom super soldier serum in there because, honestly, I feel better, 72 hours after getting the first vaccine. I feel better than I did before. So, I don't know. I feel I'm hoping the second dose is more of the same, that it just makes me feel great. We'll see how that goes. When we come back, we're going to talk some Miami Heat basketball with Ira Winderman from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. He joins us next here on Onside Radio. Hey, Sundays at 9 a.m., Juan Cardona, who's going to join us later, by the way, dominates the airwaves with Juan on Juan. From sneakers to video games to your favorite South Florida sports team, tune in every Sunday to Juan on Juan, exclusively on the home for sports talk in South Florida, OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the man of the match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
You know where the Krispy Kreme is at?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
remember,
about.
fat people use food places as landmarks. That's what we do, okay? Hey, you're going over there? Listen, you go a mile down, you turn a left on the Kentucky Fried Chicken, and then you go down about 3 more blocks. There's a Tijuana Flats. Make a right. 1 block down, it's right next to the 7-Eleven. That's a fat person. Guaranteed. No, dude, it's 3 miles down right next to the Carvel. That's fat people for you. That's we love food. We know our landmarks.
The Onside Zone with Big O, only on OnsideRadio.com.
Hey Panthers fans, Dave Dwork here with some awesome news. Every Saturday, I'm going to bring you the latest on everything to do with the Florida Panthers with Chirping the Cats Radio. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., we'll dive into the state of the team, recap games, and hear from past and present Panthers players, and plenty of other great hockey guests too. Got questions about the Panthers? Call or text the show and we'll break it down. Don't miss Chirping the Cats Radio, Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., only on OnsideRadio.com.
Inter Miami fans, time to find out more about your favorite soccer team with OnsideRadio.com's IMCF Football Focus. Here's Austin Robillard.
And yet another signing for Inter Miami this offseason. It just does not stop. We are a couple days away from the home opener, and the club announced just this past Monday, Nick Marshman, the current Feyenoord keeper, is going to join the club in July when his contract is set to expire. The 30-year-old keeper will take up an international roster spot, leaving Inter Miami now with 9 international players come summertime, and at the moment they only have 7 international roster spots in their name. Expect some roster moves to be made by this front office by Friday when roster compliance is needed.
Keep up with the latest on La Rosa Negra by subscribing on most platforms. Search Onside Radio.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. It's time to talk Miami Heat with NBA insider Ira Winderman. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat Report, exclusively at OnsideRadio.com. Let's go over the latest headlines locally with the Miami Heat and league-wide in the NBA with our very own Ira Winderman.
New day for us, but the same, if not even better, chatter with Ira Winderman from the South Florida Sun-Sentinel, who joins us now Thursdays on the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat Report. Ira, it's not such a great day for the Miami Heat, coming off 2 straight losses, but I hope you're having an okay day. How are you?
You know what, Donno? I wish we were back on Mondays. Then we'd be talking about the victory over Portland, and I wouldn't know that well, you know what? I can't say I wouldn't know that 2 losses were coming, because I think when you looked at the schedule, it didn't look that good with Victor Oladipo out and the way the Suns and the Nuggets are playing. So I think what's happened, instead of our regular Monday time, now that we've permanently relocated to Thursday, is the reality that the Miami Heat are a middle of the pack, no better than second-tier playoff contender, because we've now seen what elite playoff contenders look like in both the Suns and even arguably the Nuggets.
Yeah, I thought you said that very well in your game recap pieces that you've written about these past 2. And like I look back, Ira, to 2 nights ago in Phoenix when the Heat bench was outscored 65-24. I think just that's the reality. And Ira, what was last season in the bubble? Was that fool's gold? I guess I was led to believe that that this team could be at least a contender into the East, and they're not looking that way right now.
Well, no, it was a different mix. First of all, you had fully healthy and rested after the 4-month layoff Goran Dragic, except when, of course, he got hurt with the foot injury in the finals, and it went south. Now you have sometimes there, sometimes not there Goran Dragic. That makes a difference. But also you had, oddly, and it is odd to put the name in there, a big 3 with Bam Adebayo, still having a very good season, Jimmy Butler, who's still having a very, very good season, but you're missing the Jay Crowder factor.
Yeah.
Look, Jay Crowder was not the great player he was in the bubble, but for 2 months he was. Sort of like Jay Crowder's not an all-star, but for 2 months he played like one in the bubble. That's why the Heat did the Victor Oladipo deal, to get that other main guy in the starting lineup. And honestly, Dono, it was very promising when he was out there. And you saw why they made a move like that, why they needed to make a move like that, why they saved salary cap money for this summer in case that was when they were going to make a move like that. So they're one piece away. And the one thing about the NBA, in a sport where only 5 people play at a time, when you're one piece away, you're very far away.
Well, and let's rewind for a second and get a little bit deeper into Oladipo. So he came up with the knee issue a week ago against the Lakers last Thursday. And, since then, to my understanding, and obviously I know it's the right knee that he had the very serious injury on a couple of years ago, but since coming up with that knee issue a week ago, from what I understand, the X-ray was negative. The MRI showed no structural damage. So where are we at, Ira? I mean, is there serious doubt that he even plays again this year, and what's the status?
Yeah, there wasn't originally. Now there is, and I think, Dono, one of the biggest days of the year coming up are going to be when the Miami Heat issue their injury report at 5:30 p.m. on Saturday for Sunday's home game against the Nets. Will we at least see Victor Oladipo as questionable? Will we at least see there's a chance? Or will we at least see him on the court on Sunday? I think this is sort of the moment. I can understand when they had to leave, and they did had to leave, without Victor Oladipo on the plane because he simply wasn't ready to commit to playing for the start of this 4-game trip. And I would assume if you had knee swelling or soreness or discomfort, probably sitting on a flight from Miami to Portland is not optimal, or really the way the Heat have hopscotched the country for this week. It was kind of obvious, even though Eric Spoelstra didn't say it, that he was going to miss all 4 games of this trip. So I put that aside. That sort of became a given a week ago when he went out for that dunk and came down awkwardly. The next segment of this starts on Saturday with that injury report and Sunday's game for this reason. All of a sudden, you're down to like 16 games left in the season in 4 weeks. You've got to decide who you are and what you are and move forward. Either get more comfortable with Kendrick Nunn in the starting lineup, bring Goran Dragic back into your playoff-style starting lineup, mix things up, shake things up. So I think the Heat really need to have an answer from Victor Oladipo by Saturday or Sunday, or certainly going into another very busy week next week, when really you're starting with a back-to-back. You have the Nets on Sunday, and then you have the return of Kelly Olynyk and the Rockets on Monday. You're going to need bodies pretty soon. Can Victor be one of those bodies?
Well, and Ira, you were asked an interesting question. You had a very very compelling answer on Ask Ira, where someone said, hey, I love me some Goran Dragic, but I think Father Time is calling. And you pointed out that the Heat have a lot of 30-somethings that they're dependent on, with Goran at 34, Iguodala at 37, Ariza at 35, Bjelica at 32. And listen, I'm cool with the season Jimmy Butler's having, but like you said, it is worth pointing out he's 31 years old. Are the Heat just too old? Are they too dependent on aging players?
Yeah, that's always been the Pat Riley way, is sort of bring on one more. So come on down, Dwayne Dedman, and he added him, Also, and I can understand on an incremental basis, each addition of age the Heat added. Nemanja added at 32 because Kelly was gone, fine. Trevor Ariza added at 35 because he came at no cost, fine. Dwayne Dedman added at the same type of age, because they needed another big man, fine. But collectively, all of a sudden, you factor in Andre Iguodala in that mix also, and you realize at times, and I think we really saw that out there against the Suns and against the Nuggets, this is not a very athletic team.
Yeah.
This is not a very fast team, a very fleet team. And that's why you realize why they need someone like a Victor Oladipo to sort of shake up that mix a little bit. And instead now, with this unbelievably compacted schedule, the Heat are in the midst right now of 8 games in 12 days. Really hard for an older, non-athletic team to endure that. So you could see, again, to sort of the first question we talked about today, why you need to add a little more youth. Even Victor Oladipo at 28 would be considered youth, and a little more speed. Easy points really would help this team.
I know that we still have all the playoffs to come and free agency. It's a lot can change between now and then. How much stock, if any, can you put into reports linking one Kawhi Leonard to Miami?
I'm going to put it this way, and even though the other situation changed, everyone who sort of links people to the Heat has to sort of step back and accept this reality of this. You're talking about players leaving a good place for a 500 team. And remember, Donno, how that came up when everyone thought LaMarcus Aldridge, when he still was healthy, was leaving the Spurs and coming to the Heat. And then all of a sudden it dawned on people, just like it did LaMarcus Aldridge, why would I join a 500 team when I can join a major playoff contender? So I think that's sort of a reality we have to factor in with the Kawhi Leonards of the world if they do become free agents, is that Kawhi Leonard went from a championship Toronto Raptors team to a very qualified LA Clippers team that also added Paul George. So I think when you look at the Heat and you say to yourself, you know what, except for the bubble, this has now been a 500 team almost for a season and a half. I think that raises question. I just don't I know there's the cult of Riley. I know players see what Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo can do. But there's a lot of teams, and I'm sorry, Donno, if you think this is blasphemy, who have a better 1-2 than Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler. So I don't know right now if this is the best positioning for the Heat. After they were in the NBA Finals, they were in a good spot. But you know what? We're months away from that, and times have changed.
I want to get your take, Ira, on our roundtable topic for today on Onside Radio because it's Heat-related. Now, before Oladipo's injury, I was actually, I think even more than you, because we spoke about this in our spot last week about kind of my thinking of how far the Heat could go in the playoffs, because I am very much a believer in defense. But, Oladipo's injury in these last couple of performances have really thrown my faith now for a loop. and
Sure.
So, let's just assume we don't know whether or not Oladipo's going to play again this year.
Okay.
What do you think the Heat's postseason ceiling is? Because I'm thinking second round. I can't see them going any farther than that.
Yeah, that would be a very successful season based on COVID and everything it's been through and the quick turnaround to seasons and some of the injuries. I totally agree. One, you've got to get a top 6 seed.
Yeah.
You can't afford the play-in. Because, Donno, let's sit back and look at play-in possibilities. If you're in the play-in, you're playing the Hornets right now, in a one-game playoff to see who gets number 7. Well, that's a tough game, even if it would be at American Airlines Arena. If you lose that game, you're playing possibly the winner of, say, a Indiana game against Chicago. Well, we've seen what the Pacers have done at American Airlines Arena, so you have to avoid that. So if you get a top 6 seed, you're talking about probably now maybe getting the Bucks, for example. Well, you've shown you can beat the Bucks. You can compete with them. You'd like to get a 5 seed to maybe play Boston in a series like that. So I think seeding will go a long way. But I think if you get into the regular playoffs and you advance to the second round with all you've been through, I think that would remove the flukedom of last year's trip to the finals. If you don't get into the regular playoffs, or if you flame out in the first round, then I think there'll be a few more askance, sort of glances at, okay, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, they sort of had their moment. You can almost look at it like the years when the Rockets won the titles, when MJ was away from the Bulls. And I think, Donald, you'd still agree there's still somewhat of a taint on that.
Yeah.
Well, Michael wasn't there. The league was wide open. So I think it's weird, but I do think the Heat somewhat have to validate last season's finals by at least getting to the second round of this season's playoffs.
I completely agree. We're joined here by Ira Winderman from the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. And Ira, I know with the Heat having a rare night off tonight, because like you said, we're in the midst of 8 games in 12 nights. You're going to be watching some Panthers hockey tonight. This is a really important one, Ira, against the Lightning. And I feel that I think both the Lightning and Carolina are both at least a little bit better than the Panthers right now. But there is a shot to win that division, Ira. And if the Panthers, whether it's deserved or not, can win that division, you get to avoid either of those teams in the first round. So
that's the crazy part of the season. You and I have spoken about it, that you don't play anyone outside of your division.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how the Panthers would, say, shape up against the Capitals, for example, or the Islanders, or the Penguins, or other teams on what used to be the Eastern Conference. So it's all so insular this year. But, yeah, that number 1 seed is huge because as much as they've had some moments against the Dallas Stars, they've also shown that's a team they can beat, or if it's the Nashville Predators at 4, you really need to win that division.
Yep.
Because, Donno, I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't mean to demean all the great things that the Panthers have accomplished, a little bit more when they also had Ekblad. But they easily could lose the 2-3 series in their division. Easily. And that's out of all due respect to the Lightning and to Carolina and where they are, that they are elite teams, that if we were seeding the East 1 through 8, you would never be having this type of debate. Instead you'd be talking about a first-round series maybe against the Bruins or against our good friends the Islanders or something like that. So it's just a crazy season that you never get to measure yourself against three-quarters of the league. But, yeah, I would think that if Joel Quenneville really has to do it, he should push for the number 1 seed, because I think that makes all the difference in the world. And then 2 of your top rivals go head-to-head, and 1 will be gone by the second round of the playoffs.
That's an excellent point. Great work here, as always. You want to make sure you follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Check out his work in the South Florida Sun Sentinel. This has been the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat Report. Huge thanks to Ira Winderman. Ira, thank you so much, and have a great weekend coming up.
And, yes, I will be watching Inter Miami courtside at the Nets game on Sunday, so I will be doing double time once again this weekend. Thank you, Donna.
Yeah, little matinee soccer coming up this week. I love that. Great stuff, as always, from Ira. And you know what? We're going to talk a little Inter Miami when we come back. Another infuriating projection on where they're going to finish this year and why I think it's BS. We'll get to that and more when we return here on Onside Radio. Hey, Florida Panthers fans have a place to call home every Saturday morning as Cats insider David Dwork will host Chirping the Cats Radio every Saturday at 10 a.m. Onside Radio is committed to all sports, and Panthers fans can now connect every Saturday from 10 to 11 with Dwork on the home for Panthers fans worldwide, onsideradio.com.
This has been the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat Report with Ira Winderman. Visit Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard. Come experience the oasis that customers deserve and the dealership that earned Dealer Rater's 2020 Consumer Satisfaction Award at Acura of Pembroke Pines. This is how we do it. You can connect with us at OnSideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnSideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com. Hey everybody, it's Good Greek Moving and Storage, and for over 2 decades, they've been entrusted to handle all of your moving and storage needs. And now, Good Greek is the official mover of Inter Miami CF. And if Inter Miami trusts the Good Greek, you should too. For the best move ever, whether it's across town or across the country, go to GreekMoving.com. That's GreekMoving.com for Good Greek Moving and Storage, the official movers of your Inter Miami CF.
Riddle me this, with all this sizzling meat and crunchy veggies nestled between toasty flatbread, who should get credit for Papa John's new papadilla? The person who invented pizza or the person who invented folding? Well, whoever it is, a tip of the tongue hat to you, sir or madam. Get a new papadilla, 4 flavors, just $6 each. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich, Papa John's.
My daughter Brinley is here at St. Jude. Coming here was literally life or death, and it was so scary. But St. Jude is fighting for one goal, like this one mission, life. And that gave us hope. We haven't received a single bill from St. Jude, so I really can just focus on what's best for Brinley.
Finding cures
saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnSideRadio.com sports update.
The Miami Marlins dropped a heartbreaker in their series finale against the Atlanta Braves 7-6. The Marlins were able to come back in the top of the ninth and take the lead 6-5, and Dylan Floro came in to close the game for the Miami Marlins and was unable to, giving up the game-winning hit to Dansby Swanson. The Miami Marlins are back at it tomorrow against the San Francisco Giants. The Florida Panthers are in Tampa skating against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Puck drops at 7 p.m. on NBC SN. The Panthers are tied at the top of the Central at 58 points with Carolina and Tampa Bay. The Heat lose again 123-111 against the Denver Nuggets. Bam Adebayo led Miami with 21 points, and Kendrick Nunn added 16. Jimmy Butler had 13 points, 9 assists. Their next game is on Friday in Minnesota. And LaMarcus Aldridge has announced his retirement from the NBA after 15 years. Chicago White Sox pitcher Carlos Rondon threw a no-hitter against the Cleveland Indians last night. This is the second no-hitter in 5 days after San Diego's Joe Musgrove tossed the franchise's first no-hitter earlier in the week. This is South Florida's home for local sports talk. This is OnSideRadio.com.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Well, I'm happy to see our friends in the YouTube chat are watching some of these Europa League games. You know I'm all in. Tremolio writes Roma ties it, which, by the way, that's great for me because I have some money on draw between Roma and Ajax at plus 295. So that would be my best outcome. Because I put a little money on Ajax to win, which was around plus 135, I think. But then I also put a little bit of money on a draw at plus 295. So the only way I lose the bet is if Roma wins the game outright, which could still happen if they can find a late winner. But if it's a draw, I win big. If it's an Ajax win, I win, a little bit. So that's good. I've got a 2-team parlay on Manchester United and Villarreal. They are both leading by a goal at this point. Man United have a 1-0 lead against Granada. Villarreal have a 2-1 lead against Dinamo Zagreb, so that's looking good. And this one's done. It's the 82nd minute, but Arsenal are all over Slavia Prague, 4-0. So I've got Arsenal minus 135 on the money line. I could already start counting that money, and we'll see if the other ones cash in. But and I've told you guys this. I'm not a supporter of Roma, but I would like to see them go through. And if the score stands 1-1 between Roma and Ajax, Roma would go through to the semi-final of Europa League because they won the first leg 2-1, so they've got the lead on aggregate. So Roma would go through even with a draw against Ajax today. And they're the only, you guys know I love the Serie A, and Roma are the only Italian team left in a European competition because all the Champions League teams have been knocked out by this point, and Roma out of the 3 Europa League teams are the only one left. So it's it's better for Italian soccer if Roma do go through. So I am rooting for that. So I hope that, selfishly, I hope that the draw for today holds because then I win money. If Roma win, then they obviously move on anyway. So that'd be good for them. And that's where we are. And speaking of Italian soccer, in about an hour, it's going to be a dream come true for me. I'm going to talk with the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer of my boyhood club, Inter Milano. So I'm going to speak with Luca D'Annavaro at 5:40. We have a lot to come before then, my friends. At 5:20, we're going to talk some Dolphins and some NFL with Crypto Cardona, Juan Cardona from Juan on One here on Onside Radio. It's great to see some good people in the YouTube chat. I want to send some shout-outs. Tremolio is on board. Rosendo is with us. Ray, Rafa in Miami. Herman. Marco, what's up to everybody out there? I'm sure at some point soon Andy in Scotland's going to jump in. He usually gets in around like late 4 o'clock hour, early 5 o'clock hour, whenever he finishes work or whatever he does over there across the pond. I'm in Drive Pink Stadium, 3 days away from Inter Miami opening up their season on Sunday. I'm pumped. I'm super gassed. My suggestion to Inter Miami supporters would be, or even if you're on the fence about supporting Inter Miami, you just want to support the local team, maybe you're not that into soccer, there's plenty of room on the bandwagon, guys. Get on board. Let's all have fun. Let's all cheer together. My suggestion to Inter Miami fans, though, would be one of two things. Either A, avoid reading what the national MLS press has to say about this team. Just ignore it right now. Or B, read it and embrace the hate. Because I feel like there's a media agenda against this team. I talked a little bit about it at the top of the show when I got on at 3 o'clock. Everywhere I look, man, this, these old school soccer writers, the people who cover American soccer for a living, seem to be rooting for this team to miss the playoffs and to finish damn near last in the Eastern Conference. I don't know if it's because they don't like the fact that we're in a flashy market and ownership has been aggressive in pursuing big-name players and spending money, and David Beckham, of course, is involved here, and this is David Beckham is very Hollywood, right? So I don't know if there's like some kind of a bias and agenda against Inter Miami, but I think some of these projections are just a little bit unrealistic. So I went through a few of them yesterday on MLSsoccer.com, where 7 of their writers, weighed in on where Inter Miami are going to finish this year in the East. And, a couple people had them finishing in playoff position, like at number 7, which is there's going to be 7 playoff teams in the East this year. But most of their writers had us finishing 11th, 10th. Somebody even had Inter Miami finishing 13th, like damn near dead last in the Eastern Conference. And then I look at another projection today from America Soccer Now. They project Inter Miami to finish 11th in the East, which is not going to be even sniffing a playoff spot. And I think it's crazy. They write, Inter Miami entered the 2020 season with the expectations of mirroring 2017 Atlanta United or 2018 Los Angeles FC, but instead fell flat on its face like 2017 Minnesota United and 2019 FC Cincinnati. I mean, okay, they fell flat on their face in your words. They did get into the playoffs. I know it was a big playoff field last year, but is that really falling flat on their face? They write, Diego Alonso has since been replaced by Gary Neville. It's actually Phil Neville, but they got the wrong Neville brother. Gary's the twin brother. They didn't. I just realized
Plot twist.
that they did. They don't even know who the coach is.
That's hard hidden news right there.
They've got Phil's twin coaching the team. I mean, they do look alike, to be fair. I mean, they're twin brothers, but wow, they don't even have the right Neville. Oh, I'm actually embarrassed that I put this in my show sheet. These people are charlatans.
Disgraceful.
Oh, my God. They write, there's been a shift from the South American flair that defined Inter Miami's initial roster to an experienced group of Premier League and MLS veterans. And you know what? To that point, I think that's a good thing. I mean, it's one thing, like you take flyers on a bunch of young, unproven players from South American leagues. I think there is some value here in getting players with EPL experience because, A, their philosophies might mesh a little bit more with a guy like Phil, not Gary Neville. Phil Neville, who, of course, is English and has loads of Premier League experience, so maybe the philosophies match up. Not to mention the fact that I don't see anything wrong with getting players that are experienced in, the best league in the world. It's crazy. This year's headline signings have been experienced Premier League and MLS veterans in Kieran Gibbs, who's going to be arriving in the summer, Ryan Shawcross, Jovan Jones, and Kelvin Leerdam, as opposed to the flashy young South Americans from last season. Matias Pellegrini and Julian Carranza, 2 of those signings, will now have to bounce back from poor 2020 campaigns as the likes of homegrown starlets Felipe Valencia and Edinson Ascona enter the first-team fray this season. And while Neville works on introducing players to their new teammates and attempting to rebuild the confidences of others, he still has to do what Diego Alonso couldn't in getting Miami's star cast of players to mesh. Gonzalo Higuain, Blaise Matuidi, and Rodolfo Pizarro on a single MLS roster should be a solid core to build around for at least a playoff push. But, he says, Miami are yet to find a rhythm between these three and their supporting cast. And, right off the bat, I have a problem with their bias on that because, okay, you mentioned those three players, Higuain, Matuidi, Pizarro. How long did the three of them actually play together? Because Matuidi arrived after the MLS's back tournament. Higuain arrived even after that, and Pizarro missed some time last year on international duty and with injury. So the three of those guys barely played together. 2 out of the 3 of them did not have the benefit for being here for preseason last year and to get acclimated with their teammates and in a new country and a new league. It's not a great time to arrive. I mean, arriving mid to late season on a new club in a new league, it's not an easy adjustment for anybody, no matter what world-class club you might have been playing before you got here. So I am going to give now. Pizarro needs to be more consistent from last year, and I think he might be able to find more consistency this season because, A, he's going to have more time with these other teammates, and B, I actually think Phil Neville has a pretty good idea on how to use Pizarro to let him play behind your striker and be a little bit more creative and not move him around positions so much, where sometimes he's playing attacking midfield, sometimes he's playing out on a wing. Yeah, I think that Neville actually has a good idea on how to use Pizarro. And Higuain, listen, I am you guys know that I watch the Serie A closer than any other league, aside from MLS, because now I work in coverage of that league. But historically, I watch Serie A closer to anything. And I've seen Higuain as an elite goal-scoring threat in his time in Juventus, and even more elite at his time in Napoli, where I saw this guy a few years ago set a Serie A record scoring 36 goals in a single season, and only one of them was a penalty kick. So that was pretty goddamn incredible. So I know what Higuain is capable of, and we're going to get a better idea of it because he's going to have a full preseason and everything here this year. They continue. Miami or Lewis Morgan, they write, will likely build on his standout 2020 season. Goddamn right he will. On the right, while Jones, Breck Shea, and LGP help Shawcross adjust to a new back line, but Neville doesn't have the credentials to prove he's the guy that finds a way to make this team click, they write. In this case, I will blame the manager for the club's misfortunes in 2021. Wow, so it really sounds like you're rooting for them to fail. It really, really does. I think the improvement at the fullback position is going to be noticeable. I really do. And it's going to be likely to start the year at least Leardem on the right, Jovan Jones on the left. Last year, we didn't have success out of the fullback positions because people forget that your fullbacks are not just defenders. If fullbacks are maximizing their potential, they are getting into the final third. They're overlapping with the wingers, interplaying with the wingers, putting in crosses, getting involved in goal-scoring chances, even scoring goals. That's what you expect from fullbacks. Fullbacks' jobs are a lot more than just defending. They're not center backs. They can be surrogate wingers as well, and we lacked that dimension last year. I think that the overlapping play on the left side has to get a lot better. So I'm curious to see, beyond Jovan Jones at left fullback, I'm curious to see how Robbie Robinson does if he becomes the starter on the left wing, because we need to see big improvement from him from last season, more confidence from him from last season. But I know the right side's in good shape with Lewis Morgan anchoring the right wing. So I think fullback play is going to be really, really important here. And to me, there's no question we're in a better place at fullback than we were a year ago. So I think Inter Miami's going to be good. I mean, I'm not saying they win the Eastern Conference, like they're not going to collect the most points in the East necessarily this year, but I think they're going to be a top 5 or 6 team. I think that all of these projections that I see of 11th place, 12th place, underestimating the team, underestimating what this team can accomplish. I think they're going to be good this year, and I'm not saying that because I'm biased. I'm saying it because I'm looking at it objectively. They have the players and the personnel to be more successful than they were a year ago. You heard it here first, folks. 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. I've noticed a pattern in celebrity behavior, and it seems to coincide with celebrities getting in a little bit of trouble. I'm noticing a pattern here. We'll get to that when we wrap up the hour coming up next. Hey, start your morning every day at 8 a.m. with Toast. He covers all the local sports stories while providing some great Miami Hurricanes insight. Download, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. 4th and 20, 8 to 10 a.m. only at OnSideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
If you missed 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, you missed.
And the top trait they're looking for in a partner is someone that can cook better than them.
Wow.
Yeah. How are you at cooking?
I'm okay. I cook all my stuff.
What's your best dish? If I had to say, Marsh, this you're gonna eat in tonight with a girl. All right.
Well, if I'm cooking for a girl, then I'm not cooking.
4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, weekday mornings from 8 to 10.
Hey Panthers fans, Dave Dwork here with some awesome news. Every Saturday, I'm going to bring you the latest on everything to do with the Florida Panthers with Chirping the Cats Radio. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., we'll dive into the state of the team, recap games, and hear from past and present Panthers players, and plenty of other great hockey guests too. Got questions about the Panthers? Call or text the show and we'll break it down. Don't miss Chirping the Cats Radio, Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., only on OnSideRadio.com.
You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
If you missed On Side Zone with Big O, you missed.
She's kind of young, so I don't know. She may not be into Van Halen much. Let's see. Hey, Ruthie, good afternoon. Are you a Van Halen fan?
You know, I just had to Google Van Halen. I'm not going to lie to you. I just literally have it on my computer right now.
The Onside Zone with Big O. Weekdays 11 to 1 p.m. Only on OnSideRadio.com. You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world.
Can I get a captain?
Captain and what?
Captain and Ginger.
I can't hear you.
Captain and Ginger. He was a Captain and Ginger. Captain and Ginger. He was a Captain and Ginger.
Captain Morgan, official partner of Major League Soccer.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
And so for the last several weeks, as you know, we've talked about Deshaun Watson's, accusers, the lawsuits about sexual assault. And you can remember hearing something in that case that, when he had these masseuses, these massages, And even his own lawyer admitted that that some of them led to what he referred to as consensual sexual encounters, which seems kind of off because if you're getting massage therapy, it's not usually a package deal. At least it's not supposed to be. If you're getting it from like actual professionals and not, the other kind of professionals, like you should not be expecting any kind of sex from a masseuse. But you remember hearing that from a couple of the accusers that Deshaun Watson had them sign non-disclosure agreements. Is that like the creepy celebrity move where like you have like a sexual encounter with a celeb and they slap you with an NDA? Like, is that a common thing? Because I'm reading another story. Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned boxer, he's been accused of sexual assault by a TikTok star named Justine Paradise. She said in a 20-minute video posted last Friday on YouTube that she didn't say anything about the alleged attack sooner because she signed a non-disclosure agreement and thought that it would have broken the contract. So, and again, like anything else, so she accused Jake Paul of forcing her to give him oral sex, and that she says she didn't consent to anything. Her quote was, he knew I didn't want to do anything with him. And it's an awful accusation, and just like anything else, I hope it's not true. I don't know whether or not it is true, but isn't it kind of creepy that like apparently she wasn't sure if she could come forward because he had her sign a non-disclosure agreement. So is this like the weird celebrity power move where you have a sexual encounter with a celeb and they hit you with like an NDA and then you're not sure, oh, wait, am I allowed to say anything or not? Am I going to get sued if I say anything? So that's just weird, man. And you have to wonder, I don't know how much steam this is going to pick up because, Jake Paul's got his little bout coming up with Ben Askren, and he's trying to do more and more of these like celebrity boxing events, and he gets paid a ton of money to do it. So I don't know if this is going to jeopardize any of that. Jake Paul did make a statement. He responded on Twitter this week saying, quote, "This claim made against me is 100% false. I never had a sexual relationship with this individual," he said. "Sexual assault accusations aren't something that I or anyone should ever take lightly, but to be crystal clear, this claim made against me is 100% false," he said in his post. And finally, "I will fight this to the end to prove my innocence," he said. But yeah, I noticed the weird pattern there with these non-disclosure agreements. We'll get the 5 o'clock hour started when we return. Hey, every Saturday at 11 a.m., soccer fans can connect with Austin Robillard and Red Card Radio. From the Premiership to the MLS, catch up with your favorite team, including our very own Inter Miami CF. Listen to the Red Card Radio show every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. with Austin Robillard exclusively at OnSideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the Radio.net app. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
Hey everybody, it's Good Greek Moving and Storage, and for over 2 decades, they've been entrusted to handle all of your moving and storage needs. And now, Good Greek is the official mover of Inter Miami CF. And if Inter Miami trusts the Good Greek, you should too. For the best move ever, whether it's across town or across the country, go to GreekMoving.com. That's GreekMoving.com for Good Greek Moving and Storage, the official movers of your Inter Miami CF.
Miami Dolphins fans can always count on the best coverage at OnSideRadio.com. Every week, keep up with your favorite team as Dolphins writer Omar Kelly joins us with exclusive reports. And when news breaks, catch the EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins report on the home for Dolphins fans everywhere, OnSideRadio.com. You're listening to the flagship station of Inter Miami CF, OnSideRadio.com. Follow us on social media at Onside Radio. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
5 o'clock hour, man of the match with Alex Donno. I'm Alex Donno, and I'm with you guys here on OnSideRadio.com, taking you up until 6 o'clock tonight. We'll get you ready to start, not quite start your weekend, but start your Friday. Countdown to the weekend is coming up, my friends, and it's going to be a huge weekend. I got my University of Miami spring game Saturday morning. I'll be watching that on ACC Network. Sunday afternoon, I'll be right back here in Drive Pink Stadium for the Inter Miami season opener against Los Angeles Galaxy. That's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, remember, if you miss any part of the show, you miss any of the interviews we do, any of the fun segments we do, you can always listen back on the podcasts. We podcast everything. Like if you missed Ira Winderman with me today, who's always excellent, Kyle Krabs, who gives us an excellent look inside the NFL draft, and he covers the Dolphins and the draft at a high level. He was with us in the 4 o'clock hour. You can catch up on all those interviews and segments. You can find them at OnSideRadio.com. You can find them by subscribing to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Podbean.com. There are plenty of ways to catch up on everything you miss. And like anything else, man, if you've become an Onside junkie over the past few months, we've been around for less than 6 months total. Time flies, but it's like we're still so young at this at Onside Radio. Do us a favor and spread the word. Like you have friends of yours who you know, they're really into the South Florida sports scene. They love the Dolphins, the Heat, the Canes. They're digging Inter Miami, the Panthers. You want to let them know, man, that Onside Radio is an option, because we love bringing the good talk, the good local sports talk to the people. So make sure you share it with them. And, for the last several weeks, we have been streaming live on YouTube and Twitch. And you guys who watch the YouTubes every day, I'm very active in the chat room. I chat with you guys, and every single day a topic from the chat has turned into a topic on the show as well. So go to YouTube, search Onside Radio, and subscribe to our channel. You can watch all the shows live. This is a pretty interesting question here. Rafa in Miami writes this on YouTube. Curious question. What do you think J-Lo does with her 6 or 7 engagement rings? Does she display them like a Super Bowl ring or what? I think she's got more rings than Brady. She's got more engagement rings than Tommy Brady has Super Bowl rings. I've only been engaged once, and we followed through with the marriage. This may be a really stupid question. I don't know, Alex, if you can help me answer this, or a texter can help me answer this. Let's say, hypothetically, you get engaged and you buy your lady a really expensive ring, because most of them are expensive. Unless you go like really cheap, you get one of those fake diamonds or something. You're probably going to plunk down like a few months' salary on that ring. If the engagement doesn't work out, is there any cause to get the ring back? Is that hers forever? Or and listen, there are different circumstances that lead to an engagement getting broken off, right? Like if you cheat on her, then yeah, it's kind of insulting to say, hey, I know you're dumping my ass. Can I also have the ring back? But what if she cheats on you? Is there any scenario? Let's say you're engaged to the woman you think is the love of your life. You haven't quite gotten to the wedding yet, and you find out she's got a bunch of side dudes. You find out, oh, she's cheating on you left and right. You've bought her like a 3-month salary engagement ring. Do you have any recourse to tell her, hey, you've humiliated me. I thought you loved me as much as I loved you, but you're cheating on me left and right. I spent thousands of dollars on that diamond you're wearing. You give that back to me, and I'm gonna sell it or pawn it or something, or I'm just gonna hold on to it and give it to the next lady I proposed to. That might be the move. If an engagement goes south, do you have the rights to get that ring back? I'm seriously wondering that. Is there any cause for that, in a divorce as well? Because she's got the wedding ring. I don't know. Do you spent a ton of money on that piece of jewelry? Do you have any cause to want to get that back?
It's such an awkward situation, though. Asking for the ring back? I don't know.
I feel like there should be a line in the sand. You should have a common understanding that
right.
If the breakup and the engagement ending is obviously her fault, if she cheats on you or something, then I think it's reasonable to say, hey, you screwed this up. You got to give me that ring back. Right?
Yeah, I wouldn't feel like as awkward or bad at all if like the person I was married to cheated on me or whatever. Yeah, I wouldn't have any shame whatsoever and be like, yeah, give me my ring back. Yeah, because I can save it for another person, or you know what, treat myself. I just went through a really hard breakup. I'm gonna sell that ring and make some money off that and go on vacation. Go away for a bit.
Do like Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems, like you pawn it to get gambling money and then you win. That's probably terrible advice, but then you win like a ton of cash.
I'll call Lee. I'll be like, okay, I got a lot of money now. What should I do with this?
Oh my God, Rafa writes that J-Lo's ring from A-Rod was 15 carats. It cost $1 million.
Yeah, I'm asking for that. I'm asking for it back.
Gotta ask for that back. An incredible story that I was told about A-Rod. I went to college with a woman who she worked at a very nice retail store. It was like an Armani store. And one day, and this actually isn't anything bad about A-Rod. It's a funny story about someone who worked with him. So this woman I knew worked at like an Armani shop, and one day, Alex Rodriguez with his wife at the time. This was years ago when he was married to Cynthia Rodriguez, who at some point she became the ex-wife. But when he was still married to his wife, A-Rod goes into her store and he's got like his lackeys, like his personal assistant, which is just some dude, was like in there, like one of the hangers-on, like part of the entourage was in there with A-Rod. And then A-Rod is like, he's shopping like for his wife, and he picks out this really expensive, purse, handbag or something, like a really expensive purse for his wife. And his like lackey assistant guy was like trying to impress A-Rod. He's like, oh yeah, I'm going to get one of these for my girlfriend as well. So, and A-Rod pays for the bag for his wife, and then his hanger-on paid for the bag for his girlfriend. And then the woman who worked at the store told me that, so A-Rod and the guy go out the door of the shop. 30 seconds later, the lackey runs back into the store and says, I've got to return this. So he just bought it to impress A-Rod. Like he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to drop down a couple $1,000s on a handbag for my girlfriend just so I can impress A-Rod. Then 30 seconds later, he sprints back into the store to return that thing, man. So that was a great one. I remember laughing so hard at that. 844-416-8123 is the number. That's how you reach us. That's 844-416-8123. God, I feel so terrible for LaMarcus Aldridge. So, a few weeks ago after the buyout, that was a guy we were looking at. We were all looking at, hey, LaMarcus Aldridge, man. We've got a big man slot to fill here. You had several days of reporting from a lot of good reporters saying that, yeah, he's the Miami Heat's player to lose. He wants to come to Miami. At the last second, he ends up deciding to sign with the Brooklyn Nets, and then we're like, oh, man, this is the one that got away. And then I read this morning, LaMarcus Aldridge is retiring, and it's a pretty serious thing, man. He writes this. He wrote this open letter that he posted on social media. He says, today, I write this letter with a heavy heart. My last game, I played while dealing with an irregular heartbeat. Later on that night, my rhythm got even worse, which really worried me even more. The next morning, I told the team what was going on, and they were great getting me to the hospital and getting me checked out. Though I'm better now, what I felt with my heart that night was still one of the scariest things I've experienced. With that being said, I've made the difficult decision to retire from the NBA, he wrote. For 15 years, I've put basketball first, and now it's time to put my health and family first. I'm thankful for everything this game has given me, the great memories, including all the ups and downs and the friendships I've made and will keep with me forever. I thank Portland for drafting a skinny Texas kid and giving him a chance. The city of Portland has given me some unforgettable years. They will always remain in my heart. I want to thank the Spurs for letting me into the family and giving me 5 fun years. Last but not least, I want to thank Brooklyn. You wanted me for me. In a game that's changing so much, you asked me to come and just do what I do, which was good to hear. I'm sorry it didn't get to last long, but I've definitely had fun being a part of this special group. You never know when something will come to an end, so make sure you enjoy it every day. I can truly say I did just that. Signed, LaMarcus Aldridge. That's tough, man. I mean, you've heard enough stories over the years about irregular heartbeats leading to athletes dying suddenly. So if I'm LaMarcus or a member of his family, I'm just really thankful he got checked out. Like, I'm really thankful, because don't you figure that a lot of professional athletes, these are the cream of the crop, right? Physical peak condition. You're talking about, young men in their 20s, or in this case in their 30s. You feel like you're invincible at that point, especially when you're, competing at the highest levels of physicality in a professional sport. You might be feeling an irregular heartbeat one night, and, if you're not maybe as mature as LaMarcus Aldridge is, you might just say, oh, this is not a big deal. I'll be fine. I don't know what this is. Whatever, man. Maybe I'll feel better tomorrow. Who cares? Like, thankfully for LaMarcus, like, he had the sense to say, something's wrong here. I don't feel right. I've got to notify the team. I've got to get checked out at a hospital. And then he came to realize this is serious. Like, this is the sort of thing that can be not only career-threatening, but life-threatening if you don't get it checked out and taken care of. And he's now made the decision. I cannot risk playing basketball again. I'm done. And I'm proud of him for that, and I'm happy for him. And I hope this is not something that is going to, affect the rest of his life. I hope he can live a normal life. It's not the exact same thing, but it reminds you a little bit of Chris Bosh. I mean, it took Chris a couple years to come to grips with the idea that his thrombosis was, a career-threatening, life-affecting, altering condition, and he, eventually realized, I can't keep playing basketball, and obviously, I'm sure the immediacy of an irregular heartbeat is a little bit more alarming even than deep vein thrombosis. But the situations they remind me of one another, because in the case of Chris Bosh, he eventually had to realize, I don't get to decide on my own terms when to stop, right? Like certain players, the Michael Jordans of the world, Kobe Bryant's, and of course, Kobe, may he rest in peace. But, Kobe was able to go out on his own terms. MJ, even came back out of retirement a couple times, went out on his own terms. Not everyone gets that luxury, right? I mean, you think about a guy like, Andrew Luck, who retired after concussions. Barry Sanders decided to retire a little bit prematurely, although I guess technically he went out on his own terms because he could have kept playing if he wanted to. But, you hear enough handful of stories about professional athletes who don't really get to make the decision for themselves when to step away, and it sounds to me like LaMarcus Aldridge is dealing with this in a very mature way with a lot of perspective, and I wish him all the best, man. I wish him all the best. Wow. You know what's funny, Alex? A-Rod, the ring that A-Rod got for J-Lo might not even be the most expensive one she's got. So Rafa's doing the research here. The ring that Ben Affleck got for J-Lo, $2.5 million. Mark Anthony, $4 million ring. And the website he's on, he says the A-Rod ring is closer to $3.5 to $4 million. So just in engagement rings, J-Lo's got like 12 to 16 million. And what about the backup dancer dude? The original, that was probably like a $1,000 ring, because I mean, it was some schlub. But because her first marriage, wasn't it to like one of her like backup dancers from the music video? So she's got that ring as well. So she's got like 4 or 5 engagement rings, and she's got multiple millions of dollars. That's wild.
She's almost on that Jordan level now with 6 rings. Almost there.
Yeah, she is. You think Dan Marino's jealous of J-Lo?
Maybe not in that aspect of life.
Man, I never got that ring. Oh, wow. 844-416-8123 is how you reach us. By the way, I don't know why. Why do you think Game of Thrones tweeted "Winter is coming"? The official account. They're probably promoting one of those spin-off shows.
Yeah,
right?
like the prequel or like spin-off. Yeah, something like that. Cause I was hanging with a couple buddies last night, and they were talking about that. They're planning like a prequel series or like a spin-off of one of the characters. And
as long as the creators of the original show are not involved, I'll give it a chance, because those guys ruined the show. Benioff and Weiss, they freaking ruined it. Right? They were propped up because for the first several seasons, they had the books to prop them up, right? Because they didn't really have to write their own stories. They just had to adapt the books. As soon as they ran out of books, the scripts were awful and the stories made no sense. So as long as those two idiots are not involved, I will give the prequel an opportunity. But when Game of Thrones tweeted out, "Winter is coming," I quote tweeted and said, "Fix your finale." It was terrible.
Fix your finale. I mean, you're right, though. You're right.
Is that the worst ending to a major TV show? You know,
people say Lost is up there as well. How I Met Your Mother is disappointing.
You know, I didn't hate the Lost finale. How I Met Your Mother, that's a good shout. That was pretty bad. That was terrible.
I've never seen Lost, so I can't speak on behalf.
I didn't think that one was that bad. You know, that it wasn't great, the Lost finale. I just think a lot of people didn't understand it because they thought, oh, so they were dead the entire time. No, they weren't dead the entire time. Just at the end of the show, they were like in heaven, basically like talking to each other. But so people misunderstood that. Oh, they were dead the entire time. That was weak. No, they weren't. They were just dead in the end. I don't know. It would take a long time. It's been like 10 years since the finale, so it'd be difficult to explain. I didn't think the Lost finale was that bad. A lot of people hated the Sopranos finale. I didn't. You know, people believe what they want to believe. I think Tony Soprano got whacked.
You think when he looked up, you think
Yeah,
the ending like that when he looked up to the camera, or like,
yeah, because I think you know how it went black.
Yeah,
I think that was his point of view. Like I think he got shot in the head by the guy in the members only jacket who like went into the bathroom. I think he came out like Michael Corleone from the bathroom with a gun and shot. I think that's what I take it to have happened. Like so,
it is a very abrupt and kind of chilling ending. I would say to like a series like that. It's kind of just it just ends kind of like that, and you're like, oh, it kind of fakes you out. It's like, really? That's it? But then I kind of like shows like that in the way that get you thinking a bit as well.
Yeah.
Because it gives, and that's how you make the show last at the end of the day. We're still talking about that, about The Sopranos. So those type of cliffhanging endings or leaving it to interpretation, it depends how you do it. Because if you do it really bad, then it's just a bad ending, you know. But if you can make it, you know, it give something to think about for the viewers, and like it's interesting, then yeah, I'm okay with that.
I didn't like the last episode of Seinfeld, but
Neither did I.
But with Seinfeld, it's like it's a comedy series, so
don't think too into it.
If the last episode is bad, it doesn't ruin the rest of the show. Whereas Game of Thrones, because everything was building on the ending. So if you screw up the ending of Game of Thrones, you screw up the entire show, as far as I'm concerned. Whereas like Seinfeld, okay, the last episode wasn't great, but who cares? Because everything else was gold, Jerry, gold. So
yeah,
and it's not really a big deal.
It was like a reunion episode essentially. Like,
yeah,
they brought everyone back from
the
like
courtroom.
Yeah, so I kind of like that, but it wasn't the best finale. But like you said, it's Seinfeld. Like everything else was amazing, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. You guys can help me out. Like shows that had bad endings, because it's hard to end a great show. How I Met Your Mother ending was terrible. All right, when we come back, we're going to speak with Juan Cardona, our good buddy Juan Cardona from One on One Sundays on Onside Radio. He's going to join us when we come back. Hey, Saturday mornings, 9 a.m., Sean Stanley hosts the Squared Circle Digest. Now wrestling fans have a place to call home as Sean covers the very colorful world of wrestling. Tune in every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on the home for sports fans worldwide, OnSideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can now watch Onside Radio daily by subscribing to our YouTube and Twitch channels. Search Onside Radio. Log on, subscribe, rate, and review Onside Radio on YouTube and Twitch. Find out why Big O has a face for radio. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's home for real sports talk.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty, to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's true hometown station. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. Check this out. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Well, it's nice to welcome in our good pal, Juan Cardona. You can follow Juan on Twitter at Exclusivity. You can hear him Sundays with Juan on Juan here on Onside Radio. Juan, good afternoon, man. How you been?
What's up, my brother? Talk to me, bro.
Not too much, dude. I know that you've been mock drafting like crazy for, 2 weeks from tonight. I actually, you posted one of your latest mocks the other day, and I actually really liked it. What's been the latest you've come up with for the Dolphins in the first round?
Yeah, so my initial going into it was obviously the Kyle Pitts or the Najee in the first round, right?
Yeah.
And then, more or less, I tried to push center and more so interior offensive linemen to at least pick 81, which was the fourth round, I believe. But none of the guys that I wanted, which is Quinnen Miners, Dickerson, and what's the other dude's name? Creed Humphrey.
Yes.
They never make it all the way down to 81. So I've kind of had to adjust a little bit, especially with edge, just because we kind of do need some edge help. And if you miss on the top guys like Jalen Phillips or Kwity Paye, you're kind of scrumming in for bottom of the barrel come the fourth or the fifth round, which is kind of why I went Amari Rodgers in the fourth round, just because even let's say we still want to, I would agree, and I would think that adding to the wide receiver room is still something that we want to do. But it's such a deep position that I probably wouldn't mind just waiting until maybe the third or the fourth round.
Do you have any real doubt about Kyle Pitts dropping all the way to number 6? Because there's so much hype around him now. I just kind of wonder if Atlanta or Cincinnati might bite.
I found it interesting that Atlanta is selling the fourth overall pick to whoever wants to get Chase and Pitts, just because that's kind of like the easy pivot, saying, hey, look, number 5 with the Bengals, they're either going to get Chase or they might get Pitts or, they might get Panay, which at that point, I think, and I tweeted it out, and I think for me, my number 3 guys are Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, and in that order. But that doesn't mean to say that, if my third guy is the one I have to get, it's like, oh, Donald, damn, I have to get Devontae Smith. No, that's not the attitude. It's like, damn, bro, I went and I got Devontae Smith. The guy's smooth, the guy's an excellent route runner. And I feel like people think it's like Kyle Pitts or bust, and it's like, nah, man, 6 for us has become it's like, okay, well, what do you want to do, Bengals, or what do you want to do, Atlanta? And we're going to eat regardless, because let's say that they both go skill position, or maybe one of them goes Kyle Pitts and the other Penei Sewell. At that point, you could sell it off to a quarterback needy team, and then you're eating again. So it's just, for me, it was just, Chris Greer playing 3D chess and just beating everybody in the league.
So a lot of so-called experts are now, buying into the idea that San Francisco, who traded up to number 3, really like Mac Jones in that spot, which really seems like a reach to me. Are you buying that, A? And B, where do you have Mac Jones ranked in the quarterback pecking order? Because I've got him at best the 5th quarterback in this draft, and yet somehow people are putting him as the 3rd quarterback.
See, it depends, right? I'm more iffy on Zach Wilson than I am high on him like other people are.
Okay.
Maybe it's because he's going to go to the Jets and it's like he's gonna be terrible, but he could be good, right?
Right.
But I would probably put Mac more of like 4-ish. But hey, listen, if you have a preference to what kind of offense you want to run, and let's say you want to do a West Coast drop back type of offense, maybe you prioritize Mac Jones. Maybe you see, and look, this is what the tea leaves kind of read, right? You look at Kyle Shanahan, and Kyle Shanahan has basically run every type of offense you could think of, right? With RG3s, with Kirk Cousins, with Matt Ryan's, and if you just look at it from like a strategic point of view, who has excelled more and who has given him more as far as like deep playoffs run? It was Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan was an MVP candidate. I can't remember off the top of my head if he actually won it or not, but he went to a
I'm not
Super
sure
Bowl
either.
with him.
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't know. I feel like he did, but maybe I'm wrong.
I want to say he did, but I just didn't want to, put my foot in my mouth. But just looking at it like that, I'm like, okay, I could sell myself, and I'm sure the 49ers could sell themselves at Mac Jones at 3. But at the same time, like you see Justin Fields run a 4.3, and it's like, he's bigger and a little stronger than RG3, so maybe he can handle that workload. And then also it also has to do with like quarterbacks and more so kind of like the philosophy of it. Most young guys or most young quarterbacks that go high, it's because of their legs, because early on that's probably what they're going to rely on.
Right.
But you look at a quarterback like Mac Jones, and he's more cerebral, stand in the pocket, kind of pick you apart like that. So some teams might value that more, while others might value that less.
Joined here by Juan Cardona, who does an awesome job here on Onside Radio hosting Juan on Juan. He also does great work on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Juan, how big of a chance do you think there is that the Dolphins were to grab an edge rusher at number 18? Because that certainly is an area of need. Now, our guys in the YouTube chat have pointed out the Dolphins have a really crappy history in recent memory of drafting defensive end in the first round. When you think about moving up for Deion Jordan, Charles Harris a few years ago was a massive
TJ Watt. Oh, God, no, I don't need the PTSD right now, bro.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I get it. I get the concern, right? I just think for me, you can have one or two school of thoughts, in my opinion. You can either go, well, the co-OCs are an ex-running back coach and an ex-tight end coach, and you could potentially say that last year Studesville was really on the table or putting his fist on the table for J.K. Dobbins, as you saw him, spend like an hour with him, at practice or whatever it was. And he didn't end up getting his guy. And, the running back position wasn't necessarily the greatest one for the Dolphins, right?
Right.
So maybe he does have a little more say in the equation for 18. And 6 for me is it's easy for Kyle Pitts to go in there just because – think about it. Last year with Godsey, we had literally the most productive year for the tight end room in the history of the Dolphins. So that's just another piece for him to eat, and that's one school of thought. And then the other one is more so like, okay, well, is Brian Flores really going to take 2 offensive players in the first round? And it's like, he could do that, right? It's a fair assessment. I mean, he did it last year. He did 2 offensive, 1 defensive. But if we only have 2 first-round picks, I wouldn't be shocked if we went edge or a linebacker, maybe Micah Parsons or Jalen Phillips, or like I said, Kwity Paye too.
Yeah.
These are all guys that kind of more or less fit the scheme, depending on how you want to use them, and I could all see them flourishing with Flores.
Is Tua going to prove all the doubters wrong this coming season, Juan? Because I'm no longer even thinking about Deshaun Watson. Way too much smoke there, way too many lawsuits. I'm completely focused on Tua Tagovailoa, and people are still trying to tear this kid down and act as though he's a bust already. What are your expectations for year 2 with Tua?
So it just depends, right? It depends on how you want to really look at things. Is he going to go out and have a year like Justin Herbert? I don't foresee that, Donald. I really don't. I think he's going to, lead the offense. He's going to ride an efficient team. They're going to, obviously rely on special teams, field goals from Jason Sanders, the defense. And, depending on what we do with offensive weapons, you could potentially start to have to make more of a determination on him because now you're looking at a 17-game season, which, hopefully speaking, he plays all 17 games. And you're giving him more weapons. You're giving him potentially Kyle Pitts or Devontae Smith or a running back or, you're giving him Will Fuller. So it's a lot of weapons. And it's going to be an interesting year just because, and it sucks to say because you really don't want to say too much, but we might be revisiting DW come next offseason just because of how everything might play out.
Yeah, who knows?
And if Tua, let's say, doesn't necessarily sell people on what he can do, because I do feel like he's going to have that Drew Brees type of trajectory. It's going to take a while for him to really take off, in my opinion. And if he doesn't, I don't know how much patience Brian Flores is going to necessarily have with Chris Greer, just because, they do have a top elite defense, and usually you kind of want to, attack and win the window that you have.
By the way, what is Juan Cardona? What do you do during a crypto boom like what we've been having the last few days? Do you take out your profits or do you just keep it in there and let it ride?
I just sit on my hands until they're numb, so that way I can't use my phone.
Same. I don't even want to be tempted to take them out because, hey, if Bitcoin is at 63.5 today, it might be at 70K in a couple of months. Like I don't even want to take it out right now.
But I'm giving you some good advice right now, bro.
Do it.
Right now, it's looking like alt season's about to take off.
I've noticed that.
And when alt season takes off, not only does everybody eat, but everybody eats stupidly, bro. Like I'm talking about like XRP might hit like $5.
Jesus.
And I hate XRP, but that's the type of season that we're at.
Wow.
To where a lot of people start to take their winnings from Bitcoin and start to dump it into lower cap coins, and then that's when you see them start to really pop off and really start to take off. And some people, you could still eat off the Bitcoin, but I feel like it's going to start to maybe slow down a little bit. It might get to 70, 80K, for sure. I could see that happening. But I think right now it's going to be, for the next month or so, it's going to be alt season. And man, Chainlink is already melting my face, bro.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. So like, as I've got very little Chainlink. I have some Cardano, very little Chainlink. Do I need to be investing in more Link, you think, is what I need to look at?
I am the heaviest in Link, bro.
Really?
I think for me, Link, I'll send you a couple articles, but Link is their idea and their premise is to basically DeFi is decentralized finance. They want to be the data aggregate for them. So if you want to say, hey, look, what's the price of a stock? They're the ones that's going to attach that price to the stock. They're going to give that information to them. It's almost in a sense kind of like a Google thing. But for financing. And for the last, I would say, 6 months, the price has been like a stable coin, like at $30, give or take a couple of dollars. But the thing with Link is it's violent. And when I say violent, bro, like I'm talking about like 60-70% turns in like a day or two.
Whoa.
So I would not be surprised to see, come next week, we're looking at a triple-digit Link for sure.
All right, that's a good shout. Juan Cardona does an awesome job, and make sure you listen to him Sundays, every Sunday, including this Sunday at 9 a.m. Juan, thank you so much, man. Enjoy your weekend coming up.
You too, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, and that was really good stuff from Juan. Coming up in a little bit, we're going to talk with Luca Donnavaro. Going to be a huge thrill of mine talking to the CMO of Inter Milano, the club I've been rooting for since I'm a boy. I'm geeking out. I got to read this first, though, before we hit the break. Rosendo writes, Donno, did you hear about that inmate who is being held on a slew of escape charges after he shoved a cell phone up his rectum and then tried to escape from Jackson Memorial Hospital, authorities said? I didn't hear about that. Why did he shove the cell phone up his rectum? I feel like I need more to this story. Like, was that part of the escape plan, or is that just something he's into? I don't really. I need more information here. Oh man, we'll continue on the other side. We take you up until 6 o'clock here on Onside Radio. Great stuff there by Juan Cardona. Huge stuff earlier by Ira Winderman, by Kyle Krabs. We're going to talk with Luca Donovaro. Very, very nice Italian gentleman, the CEO of Inter Milano, when we come back. Keep it locked right here to Onside Radio. Hey, Sundays at 9 a.m., Juan Cardona dominates the airwaves with Juan on Juan. From sneakers to video games to your favorite South Florida team. Tune in every Sunday to Juan on Juan, exclusively on the home for sports talk in South Florida. We are OnSideRadio.com.
The man of the match with South Florida's own Alex Donno. Weekdays 1 to 5 p.m. on the home for Inter Miami football. OnSideRadio.com.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless, and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that. Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
The 25-year-old was reportedly arrested this past week near Vail, where a sheriff's deputy said he saw Camargo's car speeding and changing lanes erratically, which is always really smart. When you're carrying a lot of drugs, you want to speed, you want to swerve, you want to look like you're drunk and high and all that. You want to cause as much attention. You want to bring as much attention to you when you're carrying a load of drugs. That's just the tip for you, thieves out there, you drug dealers, you criminals. Bring all the attention possible to you while you're committing a crime. It's really, really smart.
The Onside Zone with Big O, only on OnSideRadio.com. You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnSideRadio.com sports update.
The Miami Marlins dropped Game 4 of their 4-game series against the Atlanta Braves, but still took 3 out of 4 from Atlanta. The Miami Marlins dropped the game in the final inning. Dylan Floro came in to save the game for the Fish, up 6-5. But was unable to secure the win with Dansby Swanson getting the game-winning hit to left field. The Florida Panthers are in Tampa skating against the Lightning. Puck drops at 7 p.m. on NBCSN. The Panthers are tied at the top of the Central Division with 58 points, tied with Carolina and Tampa Bay. The Heat lost again 123-111 against the Denver Nuggets last night. Bam Adebayo led Miami with 21 points, and Kendrick Nunn added 16. Their next game for the Heat will be on Friday in Minnesota to close out their West Coast road trip. Marcus Aldridge has announced his retirement from the NBA after 15 years. Chicago White Sox pitcher Carlos Rondon threw a no-hitter last night against the Cleveland Indians. This is the second no-hitter of this MLB season, and just 5 days after San Diego's Joe Musgrove tossed a no-hitter. This is South Florida's home for local sports talk. This is OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Pleasure to be joined here by the CMO of Internazionale, Inter Milano. As you guys all know, I am a boyhood fan of Inter. I've been following and supporting the club for basically my entire life. And Luca Donnovato joins us. He is the CMO of Inter. Luca, thank you so much for joining the show. How are you?
Hi, Alex. Hi, good. Very good. It's a great moment for us. So I'm so excited because we are looking for the end of the season, and so far so good. So don't say too much.
Yeah, I'm very superstitious. Everyone knows that. So I do not put the cart in front of the horse. I'm very, very careful with it when I talk about the form that Inter are in. And Luca, it's been 2021 has been a great year for the club so far, not only on the pitch but off the pitch as well. And I know that you and everyone at Inter have been working so hard for the launch of the new crest, for the launch of the worldwide I Am campaign. And I think you have done an incredible job, you and everyone involved on Twitter and on social media, really pushing out this campaign, pushing out the message. And so tell me about the crest. To me, Luca, it looks very sharp and it looks very clean. It's a little bit simplified compared to the previous crest. And I'm sure there's a strategy behind that. Can you tell us the story about redesigning the crest, and why did everyone at Inter decide that this season was the right time to do that?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, first of all, Alex. I mean, it was a pleasure for me professionally to lead my team because like a marketeer, doesn't happen every single year to redesign and rework on the brand identity of a club, and more than that, also to redesign a new crest. The last time Inter have done was the beginning, 113 years. So, it's very simple. Like, we ask the question why we have to change, why we need to evolve. That is very simple. Is we need to evolving with funds, and this is our recipes to become a global brand. So we thought we need to have a new look. We need to listen and talk to the new generation. So we thought that the new crest, the new brand identity, the new colors represent us now, but more than that, it's going to represent us in the future. So that was the beginning, the reason why. And then we start sitting down at the table. We start thinking, this is part of a journey. It's a brand journey. As a club, we started like 2 years ago, and we have set up a clear tone of voice 2 years ago. So as you say, you can see our job on our social media, on our podcast, on our TV. We try to set up a new tone of voice that embrace more like the way that we can communicate with a global audience, not just with Italian guys, not just with the sport fans, but with somebody that is curious, somebody that is social, somebody that is digital. So that was the start, and then these years we thought that was the right moment to we were ready in terms of brand personality. So we decided this is the year to unveil the new crest and new brand identity. Of course, Alex, as everybody, we went through COVID. We went through let me say, surreal moment for everyone in the world. But that cannot stop. you plan like years and years before. So we had to adapt ourselves a little bit, but we have to be consistent with our strategy. So we thought that was the right moment to unveil our brand identity and to unveil our new crest.
No, I'm happy about the way everything's going over, and I like the new crest, and I also, of course, I'm looking forward to seeing what next season's kits are going to look like. But we've seen the fourth kit that was released, and I like it. As a child, who grew up, born in the '80s, grew up through the '90s, it reminds me of like something Andre Agassi would wear playing tennis.
Exactly.
I like the fourth kit. Yeah, it's very fashionable, I think, and I don't think it's a coincidence, of course, that Inter are located in Milano, which is the fashion capital of the world. And, how important is it to be located in that city, Luca? How important is it to make sure that every design and, every crest, every kit meets a certain standard of elegance? Because people expect elegance from Milano.
That's right, Alex. When we designed the new logo, we unveiled the fourth kit. Is the first kit with the new logo on. We want to, let me say, mix three elements. One is respect our history, respect our identity as a football club, because we are a football club that we won a lot in the past, and fingers crossed we're going to do something else in the future. Second element, we want to, let me say, celebrate the modernity. So as you said, the new kit says yellow, very bright, very fresh. That's some elements that the new generation are used to see it on the different digital devices. And third element was approaching what's next. What's next for us is, as I say, we are a football team, but I like to say we are trying to open ourselves also on the digital fashion and entertainment style world. And then, as you say, we are from Milan, so our legacy with our city, the legacy with design, the legacy with lifestyle is extremely important on whatever we're doing. And that is what you can see in our logo, what you can see in our kit. So, as you say, the kit, for example, is like is a mix of creativity. Usually, this time of the year, there is a design week in Milan that we thought that could be something that people can wear during that week. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen right now because due to the COVID, like the design week is postponed in September. But we thought from that, we thought let's create something, let's unveil our logo on a kit that surprise the world, surprise people that are into design, surprise people that are into what our city represents around the world. So that means style. So in this way, we can try to attract the curiosity of people that are not just into fans, because we want them. They follow us, but also people that are curious, or that people attracted of style.
And in the new crest, Luca, it's compared to the previous crest, it's simplified even with the letters contained in it. Instead of the FCIM, it's now IM, Inter Milano. But even the letters IM have become a big part of the marketing campaign. It's become the slogan. I am Milano. I am strong. It's a clever pun. And of course, it certainly resonates with English speakers. And I know that that's an important market to break into. So, how important is it to have the IM campaign, and how can it be applied to create more of a universal global appeal for the brand?
Yeah, it's correct. The new logo is very minimal, very simple. We respect the tradition because 90% of the former logo is represented right now. So we're very keen to maintain our identity. But on the other hand, as you say, the four letters become two, and the two letters are Internazionale Milano. They are, let me say, two letters that represent our essence. So that is very important, and we want to represent the new identity with the I am campaign. That I am in English, it's mean I am Inter, I am Luca, I'm Alex. But in Italian, it's mean io sono in a different way. So it's on a different way. But like we thought Inter tell to the world who was, who it is, who is gonna be. So that was the we play with the two letters I and M, and we thought the creative guys thought it was something interesting to show what is Inter. So my name is my story, my name is my city. So Inter told to the world who is, and to represent that Inter is the heritage, is football, but it's also something else.
Yeah, and it's always it's incredible when you see the marketing arm of the club being able to work hand in hand with the football side of the club, and the timing of this branding has worked out very well, Luca. And at the time we speak, Inter are in an 11-match winning streak, which is actually unprecedented. To start the second half of the fixture list with 11 straight. It's never happened before. Saki's Milan had 10 straight a long time ago, and now Inter and Conte have set a new high mark. So how important also has the success been on the pitch to help push this marketing campaign? Because everyone who sees the tweets and everyone who sees the crest and the uniform, if they weren't aware before, they probably found out, hey, Inter is also on an incredible spell on the pitch as well.
Well, Alex, as I said before, we are a football team. So for us, is extremely important what's happening on pitch. So if we win, if we play well, if we create lots of emotion, people around the world will start looking at us. The people around the world will start buying our products. So for our side, for the marketing guys, as me, is extremely important. The success of our team, the success of our players. Also, to have international players is very important because it's helping us to talk, to spread our voice, to spread our contents in different continents and different countries. Like guys like Vidal or Sanchez, the iconic guys in Chile, and there is very important for us because then we can address specific content for that market or that language. So it's important. What's happened on pitch. On the other hand, we try to maintain, the curiosity very stable during the year. We try to maintain the vibe very high, and then of course, if there's a goal, everything's going to be better, everybody's going to laugh, and we create emotion.
Yeah, and I'm curious. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this campaign and how Inter's success can resonate in my area, Luca, over the coming years. I live in a very unique football market. I'm in North America, but specifically also even in Miami, because there's a very heavy Latin American influence in my area. So there are many South Americans. So having a guy like Alexis really does help resonate. Obviously in the United States, I think for just casual fan support, the Premier League is gigantic because there's, obviously a lot of big name players and teams there, and they have a very good TV deal in the United States. Of course, you have the international brands like Real Madrid and Barcelona in La Liga that really resonate with fans. There certainly are pockets of big Serie A support around the United States, but Serie A is a little bit more niche. And so, how can what Inter's doing right now, not only with the success on the pitch, but with the new crest and the new marketing? I mean, how important is it to really resonate with fans in North America?
Well, it's as I said before, it's a journey, and we plan different activities outside Italy. In the last couple of years, we extremely concentrate our focus on China market because our ownership is Chinese, and it's I think it's important to address all the efforts in some area rather than spread around the globe. But US for us is a big market. North America is a big market. As you say, Florida, the Latin community are very keen on football. They love football. Inter in the past, if I think about 10 years ago, Inter have done like a different tour in the West Coast, in LA, San Francisco. So for us, America is there. We have different activities with academies, for example, also in North America, in Toronto, in Canada. So for us, it's like starting from grassroots activities. So academy bring our knowledge about football. That's the first access to a new market. or to a big market like US. And second of all, I think as Lega Serie A now is an interesting moment because there's new TV rights for the next 3 years. We just appointed a big broadcaster for America.
Yeah,
so
CBS. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think next year will be very interesting because we are planning to do different things there to promote more the Italian league. As you say, Premier League is strong. It's not just one club. It's the league need to approach as opening the door for every club, and then we'll be there. But let me say, I think there'll be definitely activities there on the North American market because it's a great market. Americans love football, and there's a huge potentiality there.
That's really wonderful. And yeah, and I think on a side note, I think the new TV deal is going to be very good because the platform that Serie A is going to is already the platform that has Champions League rights. So it's very mainstream.
It is
So
really crucial, in every market it's crucial to have distribution. So people like kids, they are 6, 7, 8 years old. To become fans, they need to see the game. They need to see highlights. They need to fall in love with a player or a team. So I personally think that distribution will be very crucial for our awareness in North America.
yeah, I love it, and I can tell you, I'm raising a little Interista. My 3-year-old, he loves.
That's good.
He loves Lukaku and Barella, and he named his puppy Lautaro. So he's all
He's
in.
on. Definitely he's on. Yeah, but that's true. Like kids, they need to fall in love with modern heroes. Players are like heroes, and teams. Our aim is to create emotions through a goal, emotion through like video games, emotion through a funny joke on TikTok. Like that's for us is the crucial element to attract a market. And then it's not easy to do, but like we have few things that we like to propose to North America audience next year.
That's really good. I look forward to all of that. Huge thank you. Grazie mille to Luca Donnovaro, the CMO of Inter. Thank you so much for taking the time. And of course, I wish the best of luck to you and your staff. And of course, the best of luck to the players and to Conte to keep delivering these incredible results. So thank you so much. And I hope we can chat again soon.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.
You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com, broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out. You're listening to the flagship station of Inter Miami CF, OnSideRadio.com. Follow us on social media at OnSide Radio.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes